'cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave.
Hello there, you awakening wonders. Thanks for joining me for Stay Free with Russell Brand for a fantastic show. It's going to be beautiful and fascinating because we have a guest who can be described with both of those words. It's Candace Owens. We're also, when we're exclusively on Rumble, going to be discussing the nature of modern censorship with Candace and the obvious need for the protection of free speech and how we bring our personal morality to the complex subject of free speech. In our item, here's the news. No, here's the news. We're going to be talking about Bill Gates and lab-grown food. It's not just synthetic meat grown in Petri dishes, disturbing literal monstrosity, but now lab-grown fruit. To me, I've seen some of it. It looks
has to be similar to what's on the paper there. See where it says with the capital, then 10, 1, 2, 3 exclamation point.
Disturbing, but now I'm excited
because it has to have an uppercase, lowercase number, and a symbol.
Because I'm going to be talking to a commentator, host of the Candace podcast, producer and narrator of the new docuseries Convicting a Murderer on the Daily Wire. The very great, always intriguing, limitlessly confrontational Candace Owens. Candace, how lovely to see you again.
It's so wonderful to be back. I really just was very excited about doing this podcast. I had such a fun time with you because at the time we were on such opposite sides of the totem pole, but you were just so kind, such great energy. And I just said to myself, he's going to drift a little away from being a hammer and sickle communist because he's just too happy. He's too substantially happy. So it's been really great. And also, Russell, I will never forget you. Like, you will always be a part of my love story because I met my husband right after I left your podcast that night. So whenever people ask how we met, I'm like, I was 3 hours late to dinner with my husband because I was doing Russell Brand's podcast. So I'll never forget you. You're my good best friend. Great things could happen for me after this.
I am glad that I have this apotropaic quality in your life, that I bring you love and good fortune, Candace. There's a word I don't get to say too frequently. And yet I find that we are already at a point of conflict because I noticed that you threaded your first announcement, for that's what it was, with the idea that you have somehow been seduced into a political and cultural space that you long knew that I would inertly wander into. And I tell you now, I always believed in freedom. I've always been anti-establishment. I've always been pro the rights of the individuals and the rights of the community. I've always been opposed to corporate power and to the combination of states and corporations against the people. And I've always believed that when it comes to cultural issues, we must be allowed to form our own opinions and identities. And I don't think I was ever a hammer and sickle communist. Although I do remember some marvelous moments when you were in our studio. It was the other studio then. He goes, and what's going to happen? Is everyone just going to get along? And I remember you sort of skipping around the studio. I thought, how can I continue to argue with this person? She's just too charming. And then you marched out of there and got yourself married. And we're both now, I think, 3 kids further down the line. You've got a new human being entering the world, have you?
Yeah, 9 more weeks left of this pregnancy. This will be another boy. I have a boy, a girl, and this one will be a boy. So yeah, everything has just been wonderful. But I do consider this my good luck podcast. So I'm looking for some good fortune after this. And yeah, I know I'm being a little hyperbolic. You weren't fully hammer and sickle, but I would just definitely say that you, as we all have, developed over the years, and it was a wonderful interview. And I think one of the things that you definitely have always been open to is conversation, even with people that you disagree with. So I totally understand the success and why people are totally obsessed with your podcast now and everything that you're doing, because you're just an interesting person to listen to. I love watching Russell Brand clips.
Thank you. You're really lovely to say that to me. Now, when I talk about sort of aspects of socialism, I think it's important to understand that what I'm interested in is compassion and kindness in politics. Actually, beyond that, love. And how do we have systems that are able to convey quite basic spiritual principles, I would say, that are common in Christianity and Islam and all great and minor faiths when we look beyond the kind of cultural divisions that can easily arise.
Right.
And give us a copy.
That's all right.
Yeah.
See you at the
And
complaint.
I think it's kind of funny that our people can pull up a complaint.
No, he's fucking done. His badge is gonna be gone.
Yeah.
Please, sir. Yeah, please. No, yeah. Obviously, you don't care about your job getting in those disabled people's faces. Don't know if they have PTSD or not, and they're being intimidation as you want.
Just so you know, I don't give a fuck about PTSD.
Thank you, Chief. Chief, you better come get your boy. Please.
Yeah, we'll skip that too.
He don't give a fuck about our PSD. Okay, that's
And I got mine in the military, so you
no.
Yeah, that's fine.
it's going to the city council. No, fuck that.
What? How come one of our viewers can pull up a complaint form on your website, but you can't?
I'm not on my website. That's not for the police department. That might be for the town. That's not.
No, that's for the police department. We don't want to be doing
I
people.
don't
Yeah.
have a website yet.
Sure.
Oh, I have a
Continue.
website yet. We don't please.
Well, if he
How long
doesn't
has
have
baby been here, dude?
We started back in July.
And y'all fucking up already.
overcharging people too. Read the statute. Read the statute. Look, they're tripping over themselves. Think since they're at a new department, No, he's going to actually lose his job, and so are you, Chief. I'm going to make sure of it.
This is live.
Sure thing. Sharp versus Wintergreen.
And I got every right to say that motherfucker don't give a shit about his family name because he don't want to say it. He don't give a shit about his father's name. Because his father's name is not right here.
There's two reasons.
By your policy, you have to identify for 3 forms.
Well, that's state law.
Yeah, that's state law. If I want to see your SLAC card, you're supposed to show it to me.
There's 2 reasons why an officer won't give his name. 1, he's ashamed of his name, or 2, he's ashamed of his actions. Which one is it? You ashamed of your name or you ashamed of your actions? And I'm going to take the latter on the shame of the actions.
No, I'm going to take the shame of his name.
I wonder if he's the one that's got the dirty ass vehicle out there.
You want a copy or the original?
We want you're supposed to keep the original. We're supposed to keep the copies.
You got 10 days.
They don't even know how to do proper paperwork, and he's a damn lieutenant.
I don't fuck to show me your name.
That vehicle number 200, trash in his house. They got trash in his
Why you getting all giddy for?
Oh, now you're going to turn on your camera.
In public,
Now you're gonna turn on your
in
camera.
public.
And y'all.
You sure you still got
We can
that
still do that
It
yapping.
don't matter. You're done for. Okay.
You know you can't be the complainants of disorderly conduct.
I want to.
You know that, right? No, you don't, because y'all don't know the basic speed limit laws. Otherwise, you won't be charging people over 3 times the legal limit for a fine.
That you're overcharging people's feelings.
So sometimes it can be just like that. See, this is why a lot of us
No, it's a
try to get rid
useless
of qualified
code. I don't
immunity,
know
so
why
you
it
be
even gets
held
one.
for your
There's
actions.
no use
And
for
you
it at
will
all.
be held for your actions, because I'm gonna make sure, because the way you came up and escalated the way you did, I'm gonna make sure you're fucking fired.
Escalate.
There you go.
Straight up.
You're such an asshole.
You won't get unemployment. I'll make sure of it.
We got one doing truck drive dumper now. Marlboro.
Look up Goldsmith.
Yeah, look up Elspeth. His ass in prison for me.
She was one of the 4 people who was assaulted by that man.
Look at one on the pepperoni audits. That sheriff that got fired for putting his hands on somebody he ain't supposed to put his hands on. Okay? We get our job done.
Good deal.
And we know the laws too.
We know the law better than you.
Hell, I got one guy as a traffic guard now.
So if you want to buy dump trucks, so call.
That's what he's waiting on.
I don't care that much is fucking waiting on. Ain't nothing illegal. And that's a good lease so much to be in.
I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this just to piss him off.
Want to take my tag off?
All right, let me see what you got.
You notice he didn't have that
That's
body
it.
cam on when he was
Now I'm going to
inside
pull
until he got
you up,
outside,
and I'm going to
where
load
you
some
know he's not
forms, and you'll log back
It's
in to
too
fill
late.
those out. So
It's
just
too
give me a
late.
second.
You interacted in the public without having your body cam on. You're fucked, dude. I'm not going to pipe down. I'm going to keep talking as long as I want to.
You said hot down. You didn't say white down. You said hot down.
Let's see how long this police station actually lasts is after we get done with it.
Okay, right there. No, this way. I want y'all to watch this.
That way they ain't got nothing they can get me on. Legally. why she's gonna be in front of us. So they can't say they saw hers. And honestly, I could have called the state police on you on that shit when you got in our face like that. I want you to realize, all because you got a badge don't make you safe. That fucker gone?
Yeah, my TV.
And he got all up in my camera and everything too. So no, he's done. And that's town hall. He's done. I'm gonna tell that citizen he's not gonna be safe going in that. What?
I can't find that song post office got taken off my. I don't have it on my.
He's effed. Be careful, ma'am. They might attack you in there.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna sign off because I'm gonna put a song. Fuck up.
All right, guys. Yeah, please. I wasn't done recording.
Down. We're not recording. You need to look at that. Now, that takes off our thing. Play music on it.
No, ma'am.
All right. But y'all, I'm gonna call it out. This little fucker, he wants to come out here.
All right, guys. Y'all know what to do. Y'all know what to do. Y'all see that? You know, they're definitely gonna be held accountable. Share that footage of him getting in our face like that. Send it everywhere. Deuces.
Yep.
Arise from religion. What it offers us, I think, is the opportunity to infuse our systems of government and control with an emotional and spiritual quality. I feel that what we're living in now in this sort of it's not right to say nihilistic, because there is so much charge when it comes to meaning in our political space. But what there is a lack of, I believe, is spirit and kindness. That everywhere we look, there is kind of deception, there is hatred, there is a lack of real vision. And I would say that that's prevalent throughout the mainstream, whether it's on the purported left or right. What kind of advances have you noticed? What kind of changes have you noticed? Where do you
click on where it says employee login, log back in.
Years since our conversation, where can you say, well, this has improved, this has gotten better?
Well, so I think one of our differences, which we had early on, and I think we still hold, is I actually don't look for compassion and emotion in politics. I think that it actually needs to be extracted from politics. And I think that part of the reason is that we've moved away from logic and reason and objectiveness and more towards emotion and compassion, which is subjective, and that's why it's problematic. And emotion can yield to some really bad things. We've seen this over the years when people are being so invested in their emotions that they're not thinking clearly. And actually the people that tend to seize control when people are emotional is the government. So I am very much like, how I feel doesn't actually matter. We have to remain objective about these things. And I was just having a conversation this morning with my in-laws about that. They're overseas at the moment and talking about women and women in politics and why I don't know that it necessarily works all the time. And I was talking about this, I've been talking about this on my show for years. You know, women are, we are naturally more emotional than men.
Click on where it says inDOCtriNATION.
Pretend that there are biological differences between men and women, but there are. And that emotion is a wonderful thing when it comes to caretaking and nurturing and raising children. But I think in the political realm, we often have our emotions hijacked. And when they are hijacked, it can yield great evil. And I think we're in a circumstance where there's a lot of
these forms. This one, it just has a box on the top and bottom for you to check.
I agree with you.
Mostly rules, which I will give you a written copy of.
Are necessary for logistics, operations, and organization. You can't organize a society based on, I feel very jealous, or I feel very joyful, or I feel very sad. But when creating a vision, there has to be an emotional component. There has to be an acknowledgement that humanity has some value, that we are not just material blobs fighting for individual survival and making necessary pacts with one another, whether that's on a global scale or a communal scale, or just the interrelationship between two people for our shared and mutual survival. So I don't think that emotion is a basis for government, but
this is the form. This is the reason why I need
where we need to derive our vision.
So
I don't think that it's in any way ridiculous to suggest that kindness ought to be a part of politics. And also, I recognize what you're disputing and contesting there. I think many of the people that purport to be advocating for kindness and compassion, for example,
just your middle initial,
previously or currently maligned groups, are
and then under other
doing that at all. They're using those ideas to mask the same kind of corporatism authoritarianism, ability to censor, ability to surveil, ability to shut down,
and
always characterized authoritarianism, whether it's from the right or the left, or these new emergent terms like centralist and peripheral. Like, there's no question that the call them a leftist government if you will, although it doesn't sort of fit with my terminology, the current American administration are an authoritarian administration, that they're about the imposition of power and control, even the way that the war is discussed, the conversation around the pandemic, the shaming of people that won't sort of align with their perspective on cultural issues. For me, I don't see that as emotion. I see that as manipulation.
Right, exactly. So it's the manipulation of emotions. And I think, I definitely agree with you. I just think that I can arrive at the conclusion of our humanity logically. I don't need emotions to do that. I logically deduce that we are human beings and that, of course, we shouldn't be doing things. We shouldn't be imparting evil on individuals. It's not because of an emotional aspect. I don't think that we should be imparting evil. But yes, you're exactly right. What we're seeing right now is this authoritarian governments across the world that are pretending to care about people, compassion, wear a mask, save lives. Well, how could you not want to save lives? If you don't want to wear a mask, then you're a horrible person and you're trying to kill everybody. And that's why I really think it's important to steel yourself against that sort of a manipulation. And when you speak about that, though, they kind of frame you as a harsher person, which is something that I've definitely suffered in the media, is this hardening of Candace Owens. She doesn't have a heart. It's not that I don't have a heart. I just also have a brain.
Also under apartment number, if you don't have one, you have to put that NA there too for some reason. It has to have something in that blank.
Insulate my family from that. And the best way to do that is to tether people to their brains and not saying more than their hearts, but just to remember that you do have a brain and you should use it.
I don't find you to be a hard person. I think that you're actually a deal of fun and that you're very bright and sparky and a joy to be around, actually. But I do think that you are a sort of deliberately iconoclastic. I think you are a great provocateur. I think you enjoy saying controversial things. That's sort of my assessment of you. But I believe that all of those things are possible within joy and good humor, and of course within the parameters of accepting that you have had a completely different life to me. You're completely entitled to an entirely different political perspective, and in any kind of democracy worthy of the name, you would accept and embrace those differences. Now, last time we were talking, we spoke a lot about populism in the most sort of common and broad terms. Brexit regarded to be a sort of an emergence of a nationalist populism in my country. Trump commonly regarded as a sort of an outlier and a new type of populism. But in a sense, these markers don't hold up to scrutiny, because across Europe prior to Brexit, there were numerous populist movements in response to the 2008 financial crash. And in your country, protest movements like Occupy, which I grant you was sort of a truly global movement, as that financial crash was also global. Would you argue now that populism and those populist events, Trump, Brexit, were not anomalies, but in fact the new normal?
Used to be funny for her to dox people.
An end of or at least a strong appetite for a different type of politics. So just one sort of conversation example.
You already got it. Okay, cool. So it wouldn't let you advance if it wasn't right. So
a delightful man. I understand he's suffering in the polls because he is too much like a regular politician in the media landscape, where what people want now are accessible, personable, identifiably anti-establishment figures like Donald Trump, and let's take for the sake of this conversation the emergent forces of Vivek Ramaswamy, who I know you're very fond of, and RFK, whose populism and popularity at least is another marker of change.
Yeah, I think for me personally, the reason why I said from the very beginning it didn't matter how much money that Ron DeSantis had, that his campaign was going to be a flop, and that prognostication was true.
The big thing is,
do
you claim anyone besides yourself?
He seems too much like a politician. It's because there's something about him that feels like he kind of checks which way the wind is blowing.
Sign it there and then go all the way to the bottom
before he says something. And it really comes down to your gut instinct about an individual, and I think it matters.
Because it matters. The way it's set up now, it's automatically going to do.
And that's not to say that you need to be extremely personable and a great speaker. I mean, I actually find RFK interesting
all that
because
is
of the work that he's done. I'm obviously not a Democrat, I wouldn't vote for him, but I think that the work that he has done regarding vaccines and sort of standing up to the medical establishment his entire life is something that's noteworthy. He's done something different. He's done something brave, and to hear him continue to do that is something that makes me want to gravitate towards him. I don't think any of us would say RFK Jr. is one of the great orators of our time necessarily, and so, yeah, people are responding to looking at an individual. I think they're taking what they're saying and what they're doing and wondering if this person will have enough courage, because it takes a lot of courage when you get into a position of power to stand up to the authoritarian, whether it's the CDC or any of the other bodies that they've created. And I just don't know that I feel that way about Ron DeSantis. Vivek Ramaswamy is doing a lot of different things. I didn't really think anything of him until I had him on my show, and I just had a very good conversation. I felt like, okay, I kind of understand who this person is. He's a true academic. He's extremely ambitious, but it felt more authentic. So, yeah, I guess you could say that could be something that has to do with the populist movement, and people are naturally distrusting. But I think it's something else. I think it's gut instinct, and I think that people want to measure you against, did you stand up to this? Did you stand up to that? What is your actual record? And
You should want to claim yourself, so put a 1 there.
I try to vote for him 10 times if
Yep.
I could, but
And
I
then you
never
sign
thought that he
number
was going
9.
to be able to have the same success nationally.
Well, it wouldn't be possible to vote 10 times because, as you know, there are no problems with voting in Florida or anywhere else. It's one
That's
vote
correct.
per living human being, as has been well established for a long time now. I think it's not just about like oratory, but just authenticity more is what people appear to be craving now, Candice. That people are sort of starting to sense.
All right, see what says pending review. Does that have to do my board?
Empty, hollow, political
Yeah.
rhetoric.
Feel good. Okay, back over to the gray table. Bring
Your
some
position is
paperwork
generally
forward.
conservative. How do you feel when issues such as free speech and a broad and general anti-war stance appear to now have become conservative issues? There's been this extraordinary flip where the liberal peacenik, cultural revolution, let it all hang out, let's smoke a doobie man party has become the party of have a war, don't question a war, don't talk about potential peaceful or diplomatic solutions. And obviously when it comes to censorship, the liberal democratic left it appears more censorial based on the relationships that have been demonstrated between them and the sort of social media sites, for example, and their use of various deep state agencies to control narratives, and in fact, just the continuum of censorship across successive administrations, Snowden onwards, So when the values like free speech and anti-war can become untethered from one side of the political aisle, what does that do to your position? And do you think it's a fair assessment to just acknowledge that these changes have taken place?
Yeah, these changes are taking place. What I would say is the right is still very much pro-war as well. I mean, I think we saw this in the Republican debate stage where how many people were saying you had Pence, you had Nikki Haley, and this is why we talk about the military-industrial complex, because it encompasses the left and the right. But speaking outside of the political players and just to the individuals, yeah, I think what's happening is I've tried to actually assess it is people that are left-leaning have actually always been emotional. And so what's happened, though, is the emotional arguments are now being transpired to make them support things that they've never supported in the past, right? So it still works, if you're saying, end the war in Vietnam, there's emotions, let's end the war, hippies, okay, we want this to be over. And now you're saying, well, no, go to war, because think about the Ukrainian children, think about, how awful Putin is. It's still a hijacking of emotions, but the end result, I think, is actually different. So they haven't necessarily changed. They've perhaps grown more emotional, or I would say the media has grown just increasingly so focused on emotions all the time that they're not even thinking. It's just, how could you not feel bad for the Ukrainian children? How could you be so awful that you don't want to send billions? Who cares if there's no accounting? It's kind of going into a black hole, and we're giving less to the people that are in Maui. It's your job to constantly care about something. Here is the current thing that you need to care about.
That's really interesting because it makes you wonder if there's any actual principles present at all. Like that, if you have my position on being anti-war is surely at this point in evolution, we must be able to come to peaceful solutions. Surely this is our duty. And I would say that whether it's the Iraq War, Afghanistan War, Vietnam War, Korean War, current war between Russia and Ukraine, and in all of those wars, the death of civilians and children of all creeds and nationalities is appalling. When it comes to the subject of free speech, we were talking in the 1960s, whatever, about civil rights movement, pro-women, gay, different ethnic minorities or cultural groups, when it was them spearheading that cultural movement, their free speech was important. And now I think free speech is, these are all, what the point of principles is they transcend an immediate agenda, isn't it? It's like your principle doesn't just sort of shift depending on what your objective is. Oh, I don't like war. Actually, I do like war. And it seems that what's happened is that war has become packaged in quite unique ways. And I agree with your analysis that it's emotionally packaged. But what it appears, the genuine power behind it appears to be an ulterior or transcendent power, depending on your perspective. Specifically, the military-industrial complex are able to make sure that the American project remains a military one for economic rather than ideological reasons. And I reckon, I suppose, that that's a rational discourse and a rational analysis. But for me, it comes from an emotional place, because I think it isn't right to kill people and use violence as a way to resolve disputes. So it's a sort of a fusion of both emotion and rationale, because rationale can lead to genocide, brutality, and so can emotion. So, I wonder what you thought about that little moral snake's nest I've flung your way.
No, I totally agree with you. And this is why I was staunchly against, even from the very beginning, day one. It's like we just pulled out of Afghanistan. Now you're telling us that we need to all focus on Ukraine and the American.
Well, we don't have to do one. We just need your permission to do one if necessary.
Is kind of being set to believe
that
we constantly have to be worrying about everybody else's problems, right? That if you say, okay, we have plenty of problems here on our own, why don't we focus on those, that you're somehow rotten and you're somehow backwards. And again, there's no accounting for it. You think about You've got IRS agents that can, God forbid, you send $200 on PayPal. You know, you can be fined by the IRS. I can log into my bank account and I can see every single charge, but we have no idea where billions of dollars are going into a black hole. And it's very obvious that there are kickbacks, and this is why the politicians want to keep these wars going. I mean, that to me is just a rational, logical conclusion that most people don't see when the current thing arrives, because there's this full media effort, because part of the military industrial complex is also the media. The media is reinforcing these ideals, reinforcing these principles that we constantly have to be the moral police of the world. Quite frankly, I'd like to mind our own business. I don't know why we insist that the way that we want to live has to be the exact way that every single person in the world wants to live. I live in America. I like I don't necessarily think that people in Iran and Iraq have to enjoy the way that I live or the way that I dress or the freedom that I want to express. And so they use this moral policing argument, and you saw this on the debate stage. It's one of the reasons that I would never vote for Nikki Haley, why Mike Pence I would not vote for, is because they say, no, it is our job, and they use these Cold War arguments, and this is why we must do this, and you know, Russia could become the Soviet Union again, when in fact it's us that has military boots all across the world. It's us that's actually encroaching into other people's territory, and people are completely delusional about that fact. And when you say it, you know, you're public enemy number one, but I've been public enemy number 1 and 2 and 3 for a while now, so it's okay.
You've been a lot of public enemies. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, one of our glorious 6.5 million awakening wonders, tuning in doubtless to see a fiery spat between Candace Owens and Russell Brand. Candace because of her ferocity and libertarianism, and me because of my alleged, I think you said, sickle-waving socialist or hippy-dippy, airy-fairy, sparkle-covered, woo-woo, new age guru, claptrap. Well, it hasn't happened yet, but next we're going to talk about YouTube censorship and how it has pertained to both of us, how both of us have been affected by legacy and mainstream media censorship and attacks, and we'll be talking about that exclusively on the home of free speech, Rumble. Click the link in the description. Join us over there right now to see us talk about that subject. If you're watching us on Rumble, give us a like, the Rumble button. That don't mean nothing no more. Give us a like us, like Mama used to make. And we'll talk now. Are we safe? Are we just on Rumble? Can we, Candace and I, speak freely? Candace, so what do you think about the role of YouTube in regulating and censoring content? Is it just become another arm of the mainstream? And also, I would still want to take issue about saying that my children are surprisingly beautiful rather than predictably beautiful on the basis of two beautiful parents.
Your children are shockingly beautiful. I know there's no pictures of them in the public sphere, but I did run into you in the UK and at some hotel, and they are shockingly beautiful, really stunningly beautiful. You're kind of like, you see them and it just kind of blows you away. I'm not saying that you're not a shockingly beautiful man, but I am saying that any person that saw your children would be like, wow, these kids are positively stunning. They should be on, I don't know, the cover of magazines. They look like glass dolls. Is the only way that I can describe it to people. I'm like, have you ever seen my friend's children? They're shockingly beautiful. I always say it. I want to be honest with you. I don't want to say behind your back. I always say your children are shockingly beautiful behind your back.
Now on, I'd like you, when you're passing on that anecdote, say, have you ever seen Russell Brand's children? As you might imagine, based on his physical appearance, they are extremely beautiful children. But then again, why wouldn't they be? Just to reiterate my main point, isn't Russell Brand handsome? And then, you know, carry on with whatever crazy, ethno-nationalist, right-wing rallying cry you are. So wait, what do you think about YouTube censorship then, Candace?
I absolutely hate it. I'm on a ban right now. I'm always in trouble with YouTube. And what's really surprising in your earlier question about whether or not they're pushing mainstream talking points, I think it's much more nefarious than that. It's really scary. The groups that they allege are protected. I think all of my strikes I've ever gotten on YouTube are all pertaining to the topic of pedophilia. And they try to say, well, you can't talk about pedophiles if, you know, they're gay or if they're trans, even though we're reporting on actual news stories and talking about what's actually happening. And for me, it's not a battle that I'm willing to give up. So I continue to talk about it, and I endure these strikes and these periods because I'm a parent now. So this isn't one category that I'm not going to say, well, just find me on a different platform and we'll talk about it. It is something that needs to be talked about. There's obviously been an explosion of pedophilia light, as I like to call it. What's happening in the school systems in America, I'm not sure if it's as prominent in the UK school systems, and you can let me know. But this agenda,
impact employment,
of LGBTQIA, by the way, tagging on extra letters, and this is what happens. These social justice movements never end, right? It's the NAACP. Okay, now you have the same rights as white Americans. Oh, but now we have another battle to endure. It's against the police officers. GLAAD, all we want is gay. Love is love. You get gay marriage. What about trans bathroom signs? Oh, okay, now we've got the trans bathroom signs. Well, we need to make sure that children are allowed to pick their gender in the classroom. It's never ending. And I don't understand what two gay men wanting to be in a relationship has anything to do with my children being enrolled in a school and needing to learn about, 26,000 genders that don't exist. And as a parent, this is like that. This is my hill to die on. So, the YouTube censorship surrounding that topic makes me very uncomfortable.
What do you imagine is the agenda of those you oppose? What do you genuinely think is the
You
reason?
still have your boots and stuff?
You know, I know the kind of stories you cover. I know how it would be reported in some portions of the media.
Would you work in the mix plant?
And things like that. And you know me, right?
Mix plant on Front Street?
I would ever do if someone wants me to say something, you know, the same way as I'd call someone Mr. or Doctor or whatever if they ask me to.
Okay. That's why I'm asking. There's a couple slots open there, and I need to fill those first.
Kindness that I've previously mentioned. With regard to this issue of, are you saying that you believe that
today to update your stuff, or like 1 p.m. tomorrow
is distinct and separate from other forms of, you know, it's like it's, you know, it's a matter of abuse because it's a matter of consent, and children can't offer consent, they're too young.
Okay.
It's just plain and simple abuse. So
coming at 1 p.m. tomorrow.
What do you think is culturally happening? Do you think pedophilia is being normalized, and to what end?
Yeah, it absolutely is being normalized. I mean, they've already come up with another term for it. You're seeing college professors say that this push that it should be called minor attracted people, that the word pedophilia is not something that should be used. That's scary. You're softening pedophilia. And when you see things of this nature, and then you take a look at the books and why they're trying to introduce this to kids that are quite literally in kindergarten, first grade. I mean, you're talking about kids that are 5, 6, and 7 years old. Why else would you want to talk to them about their private parts and their gender? It makes sense. Teach my children arithmetic, teach them hard academics, you know, and it's not about being accepting because you have children. Could you imagine if every single thing that they said you wanted to affirm? I literally yesterday woke up and my son said he wanted to drive the big car. Yeah, it's important to tell my child, no, he can't drive a car. And so by trying to say to kids, you actually are smart enough and you do have the autonomy separate from your parents to make decisions, what are we setting them up for? You know, they're setting up the idea that you're an adult, you're a little adult, and don't listen to your parents, and your parents are backwards, which of course is the pedophilia thing is just going to be right behind it.
Yeah, yeah, it's down.
When educating, firstly, I would say this. The parents of children should be in charge of the way that those children are educated, and whether that's traditional or progressive should be a matter for the parent to determine. Again, that's a principle. So the principle isn't I've got a preference and I'm going to use this argument to leverage my preference. I don't care, not care, but mind how other people raise their children.
Women are more emotional than men, and we should be able to say that. We should be able to acknowledge that, and that's always been the circumstance. Women are drawn to certain categories that men are not drawn to. The way that men bond is different than the way that women bond. These are, again, rules. Of course, there are exceptions. I'm sure there are some women that are absolutely crazy about sports and absolutely love sports, but to then say that because we have these exceptions and we're going to now pretend that all of society needs to pretend that everything is anomalous, that's when things get crazy. I mean, you think it's an act of compassion to, if somebody comes to you and says, you know, I'm this, to affirm them, or to maybe not affirm them, but you're saying out of respect to, you know, play pretend in a certain way. And for me, that's offensive to me, because what you're saying is, I don't mind how you live, but when you tell me that how you live now has to influence how I live and I have to pretend that reality doesn't exist, I find that to be very problematic. It's sort of like, you know, if you meet a person who's suffering from, I don't know, bipolarism or suffering from grand delusions, and they come to you and, you know, they say something that is so obviously not true, but then they demand that you say that it is true, you're demanding that I lie, right? So if you want to go out and pretend that you're a woman and say I'm, you know, I don't know what a Russell name would be, whatever it is, that's absolutely fine, but I don't have to pretend that you're a woman. I get to exist in the realm of reality. And so I find that to be weird when we're encroaching on people that are seeing things straight and as they are, and pretending that it's not kind if they don't want to play pretend. I'll play pretend.
If you have any questions at all, I'll be glad to help.
But not with adults.
Well, I suppose I see it as that there is And around language, there is an arbitrariness anyway when it comes to some of the terminology that's used, that it's a language is convenience for identification. And if language has a different meaning to somebody because of the way that they feel, and I can make them feel better just by saying that, like for me that's easy and not that different from if someone had some sort of cultural tag that they would like me to apply, like seigneur, monsieur, or like whatever. If someone says, like for me, that I identify as, you know, female or any form of identification, it just doesn't trouble me in that way. Now, like I'm sort of open to your sort of all the type of analysis you apply to that, but I don't know why it's sort of what troubles you.
Because calling me a birthing person, you're basically saying that I have to cease to exist so that men that have mental disorders can exist, right? That's very wrong. It's very wrong to pretend that I'm not different from you. You've been pregnant before, Russell. You think calling me a birthing person is, you've seen your wife be pregnant, you see what women go through. So the idea that I'm going to stop existing so that somebody can feel good in their head, it's just not who I am. I think it's very important to acknowledge the actual struggles that real biological women go through in the same way, and the hurdles that they have to go through. And as we start diminishing language, which obviously is what's happening now, they're starting to say, how do you're a birthing person, men can breastfeed. No, they can't. Women breastfeed, women go through that. It's a very hectic experience. And so I very much draw the line at that. And I'm very happy to be considered not compassionate or not emotional enough. And I think that the reason that movement has gotten so far, and now you actually have men invading into women's spaces, is because it started with one person saying, I'm just going to pretend to make you feel good. Reality has to remain reality. And I'm very objective when it comes to those things.
Okay. What I feel is, like you said earlier about the the norm should rule, or the majority should rule. And I started to feel that when under scrutiny and analysis, there are so many different taxonomies that are not really acknowledged. An obvious emergent one of the sort of subjects around gender identity that we've been discussing, but it appears that there are just so many ways of being American, being a human being. And it appears to me that really what the ulterior force, the burgeoning force beneath this, which is not being addressed, is that there is nothing permanent or necessarily rational or logical about the idea of a nation state, about having communities of 300 million people or 60 million people under one government, that this in itself is an idea. And plainly it's an idea because there is no actual literal thing called France. It's conceptual, it's abstract. Same for any nation or community. And indeed, for hundreds of thousands of years, we evolved in smaller communities. Now, I'm not anti-progress or anti-technology or medicine or any of those great advances, but what I've started to suspect is that centralism, centralization, authoritarianism, gargantuanism, whether that's in the corporate world or in the state, are ways that you can create elite strata and control huge populations. What I believe in is maximum democracy that would, in my view, immediately diffuse the kind of conversations we're having. Like in sort of, if I was living in a community of 100 or 1,000 people and we vote, do you agree that if people want to be called a pronoun,
you didn't
we'll
get
do
your
it?
paycheck.
Yeah, cool. And then you're one, people go, no, we're not doing it. There you go, democracy, and we all accept and marvel and enjoy the many different ways, like you said earlier, that people might, you're happy if you go to Iran or Australia or Finland and find cultural distinctions, which I think is glorious, and in fact a different kind of diversity. What I believe we're on some level protesting against is the homogenization of everything, and this homogenization is happening.
Way. I mean, it's they absolutely require it.
It's not benefiting ordinary people.
I
It's
mean,
advancing
we can wait
elite
for it.
interests,
You
and it's
can get
undemocratic, and it's destroying the world. And people are sort of positioning.
There
it
are
in
some
extraordinary
organizations
ways in
around
order to
town that
facilitate
can
it.
help get them
where do you
too as
think
well.
that
I can give you their
democracy
contact
and the simple idea of people being able to run their own lives and run their own communities, as distinct from a kind of libertarianism that becomes ultimately, I don't know, sort of financial and a-communal or anti-community. What do you think about those type of ideas, dear Candice?
Yeah, I actually totally agree with you. And that's actually what makes America quite unique, is that we have state rights. And so you can kind of choose your tribe. I decided to leave Washington, D.C. and leave. I was also in Philadelphia for a while because I realized that I don't identify with these people. I don't identify with the way that things are run. And I moved south. And it feels like I'm in a completely different country, just living here in Nashville, Tennessee, right? Completely different values. And it's all about finding your tribe. And you are correct that I think that we function better on a community level. And now my life is totally different. And it doesn't even reflect what you're seeing on the mainstream media, because they have no interest in the way people are living in the South whatsoever. Actually, if we're ever being talked about, it's in a negative way. So you're absolutely right. And this is why I think that I spend so much time, and conservatives in general spend so much time talking about families, right? Because that's your original tribe. Your original tribe is a husband, a wife, the children. You get to assess how you want to live, what you want to allow into your household, who you want to allow into your household. And that is the number one answer that I give to people when they ask me, when they're so frantic about the way of the world. And I'm talking specifically about Americans, because our government is run different, obviously, than yours. What can I do? What can I do? Rather than focus on the big picture, this idea of what the nation and what our responsibility is as a nation, what can you actually do in your own house? When COVID happened, for me, I never worried a single day. My children were never going to be masked. I was never going to mask. When we had a baby nurse come one night and she was wearing a mask, I said, you don't have to wear that. She said, I want to. And I said, actually, we don't allow that in this house. And we, showed her right out because this is our house. We get to assign, we're actually the bosses. I'm the dictator. Me and my husband are the dictators. We're the evil rulers of this house. So, and that returns power back to the individual, which is wonderful.
Your style, man, you're hilarious. Because like me, I'm like, listen, I don't really see that these mask things are working. I guess maybe I'm just not strong enough. But if someone in my house was wearing a mask, oh man, I'd be embarrassed asking people to take their shoes off. But you'd be like, get that mask off. And what did they say?
I did the entire time. She left. It was, it was no hard feelings. I just said, we actually don't allow that in our home. And I think she was quite surprised by that. But the concept of my child waking up in the middle of the night, baby, and you've got a person that looks like Bane from Batman looking over the crib, it's just not allowed in my house. You know what I mean? So this is a baby. If you're afraid of a baby, I don't need you here, right? So if a baby terrifies you, you are obviously not a good baby.
This baby is doing well. What a delightful child. That's my Bane impression. I hope you're pleased.
Very good.
Done that.
But that's what it would look like. I was like, he's going to wake up and my poor little baby's going to see that's very scary. And so we just didn't allow it in our household at all. Didn't require any of our employees to wear it. We didn't stop anything. We didn't care about don't see your family for Thanksgiving. I hosted a huge Thanksgiving. That's the beauty of small communities. That's the beauty of family. You get to establish your own rules. You don't have to pay attention to the nonsense of the mainstream media. So you're absolutely correct.
In a way, it starts to expose, I think, a conversation like this one, that there is no need for ongoing cultural conflict. There is simply a need for mutual acceptance and respect, whether it's a subject like masking, where it appears we agree, except I'm too scared to impose my own beliefs in the same way that you are, or subjects like gender identity, where we disagree, but it's sort of let's be who we are, man. What's the issue? Now, I want to talk to you a moment, Candice, that because you are such a troublemaker, because you can't even accept that Netflix have made a successful documentary about causing some bloody problem about it, making a murderer, which we all liked, we all had a lot of fun, we all sat around thinking, the police are corrupt, aren't they, the way they've jailed this poor fella. It was a lot of joy. Now, you've made a new docu-series trying to ruin that for everyone else, haven't you? Trying to even unmask that, that was a problem. Tell us about your new docu-series, Convicting a Murderer, and why you've done this, and why you're such a troublemaker.
I have to say, one of the things that I'm fascinated about is just the psychology of propaganda, and we've all fell victim to it at one point in our lives. I mean, there are so many things that I believed when I was in high school, and now I know that those things simply aren't true, but I adamantly believed them in my soul. And so in my political career, or in my cultural career, however you want to spin that, I like the idea of a mass brainwashing that takes place because the media was able to present a piece. And so I obviously did the Black Lives Matter doc last year, and now Black Lives Matter is filed for Chapter 11, and people are starting to realize, I got really emotional and fired up about that. But, before BLM and George Floyd, there was this Making a Murderer series. And for whatever reason, we trust documentaries more. We just set our presets to okay, the media might be lying, the news might be lying to me, but the documentary, they're documenting this, so this absolutely must be the truth. And the Stephen Avery case is absolutely fascinating. It was a global sensation. It put Netflix on the map. And you see this same dynamic that keeps playing out over and over again, where we are now interested in turning villains into heroes. And you see this on a fantastical stage, the movie Maleficent. They're actually, here's the real story, Wicked, Broadway play. Oh, actually, I know she was the bad guy, but let me tell you why she has a soul. Joker, actually, let's really tell the story of the villain, feel bad for the villain. But then when that happens in real life, like with the Stephen Avery case and Making a Murderer, when you are taking someone who, threw a cat into the fire, abused animals, abused dogs, abused cats, abused women throughout his lifetime, and then kills a woman, and you say, as a documentary maker, how can we turn him into a sympathetic character? We're talking about something that has very serious implications. We're talking about a family that had to not just bury their daughter, Teresa Hallback, who was 22 years old and had her entire life ahead of her and was fearful of this man, Stephen Avery, and who expressed her fear regarding this man, Stephen Avery. She was brutally raped twice. She was shot, she was stabbed, she was burned, she was chopped into a million pieces. And then she was killed in the afterlife because two lesbian documentary makers from New York was like, this could be an interesting person to turn into a hero. And what happened was the celebrities seized this, all the usual characters. Alec Baldwin said, the brother wasn't crying enough at the funeral, and created this monstrosity of this family getting harassed with conspiracy theories, some that the daughter wasn't even dead, that she was gone with the cows in Mexico. It created a cult, a fan base, and people sending letters to Stephen Avery wanting to marry him in prison. It's very dangerous. This aspect of the media being able to turn villains into heroes when it comes to real life is very, very dangerous, and I'm very interested, and I always want to expose it, because the only way we conquer it is if we all realize that we're getting duped, that we're playing a part in all of this.
That's a fascinating perspective and take. What do you think it is? What do you like? Because I've always thought that, in a sense, like a story that tells the Joker from a sort of semi-naturalistic and anti-hero perspective is an interesting artifact, an interesting take, and those, and also, by the way, kind of a weird cultural weariness and a running out of IP, frankly, and running out of ways to keep franchises alive. But do you think that there's something sort of more nefarious at play?
Yeah, well, I think that first and foremost, you're right. It's interesting. You're like, oh yeah, this could be another take. This could be interesting. We're going to explore this. But I think in terms of the media, there's always been something more nefarious at play. I don't think it's a coincidence that all the late night talk hosts made these documentary makers stars, gave them Emmys, and told them, yeah, absolutely, this could potentially be true, and decided not to look over the facts. There was one UK host actually who from the very beginning called those women out and said, you're not telling everything about the case, but his name I can't think of right now. But I think for them, there was always an agenda, because in 2015, when this docuseries premiered, Making a Murderer, there was this sort of anti-police sentiment that was brewing, and they wanted to believe that the police, who are generally the good guys, were the bad guys. And we've seen how that's played up and how that's scaled over the years. And you see that when they were sitting down with Trevor Noah and these hosts on late night talks, Trevor did his thing and he's sort of said, oh, well, this is the one case where now white people can see how we've been, how maybe potentially the criminal system is wrong and rotten and locking them up because of Stephen Avery, and did his whole bit. And so it was also a way to racialize everything, which is bizarre because Stephen Avery was a white guy, but to kind of drum up this narrative. So I think that there is always a nefarious political agenda, and they seized upon this series to further divide people. And yeah, we're kind of seeing the consequences of that. But this is something that I'm just fascinated by. I love to examine people's psychology and how easily we are routinely duped by the power of mainstream media.
What do you think? Yeah, God, testify. What do you think is the significance of the success of a film like Sound of Freedom, or the emergence of our man Oliver Anthony, like these sort of, I won't use the phrase anti-hero after what we've just been discussing, but like new cultural voices that are not coming through the typical machinery, the media machinery, which of course have incumbent economic models, and certainly you strongly believe a set of ideals that they are conveying through their cultural products. What do you think about the Sound of Freedom phenomenon? Let's start there.
It's amazing. It's amazing to see something that is truly anti-establishment have so much success, and I think we're seeing this, like you said, with Richmond, north of Richmond, that we're understanding how people are feeling, and I think that there is a shift that is happening culturally. I think people are no longer believing what they're reading and what they're seeing in the mainstream media, and that's in large part not just because of people like them, but people like you, podcast hosts that are getting millions and millions of views and subscribers, stepping outside of the traditional model, and I think that infuriates the establishment. And it's why they've grown angrier and why they are encroaching even more on censorship and things of those nature, because they think if we can just stop these people from speaking, then we'll be able to regain control. But they're wrong. The train has already left the station.
Oh, please God, please God. Hey, I've got a few questions from people. Thomas Beard, I was just watching these guys in the locals chat. Some of them, they're such conspiracy theorists, they think that this ain't even live. It's live. Thomas Beard goes, do you think that the Will Smith Chris Rock slap was staged?
I don't. No, I think Will Smith is a broken man, and I think when I watched his wife put him on Red Table Talk and talk about how she cheated on him with her son's friend, and he sat there like a puppy, I was watching a man. It was very sad, like a tail between the legs, something you should never see happen for a man. And I think he was broken. He had a moment he wanted to show Jada that he was the masculine man that she's looking for, and he did something stupid.
Yeah, that's good analysis. Fair enough. Thanks. Michael L. Ross goes, do you ever plan to run for president because him and his family want you to?
That's very sweet. Thank you so much. At the moment, I'm running behind toddlers. The family stuff is way more important to me. And I actually think that I have more influence outside of politics. I think the realm of culture is way more influential. And I'm just happy with where I am right now.
You won't do it. Oh, wow. Gosh. Okay. Rich 2054. What is your personal view of the Lahaina fires, the local federal government response, and what's your perspective on big stars doing campaigns to raise money for that?
Obviously, the federal response has been abysmal, and when you weigh it against our response to Ukraine and the united effort to make us send money overseas, it should really shine a light on how corrupt the United States has become. I don't have any conspiracy theories to offer. None of it makes any sense. It's very worrisome, and it's kind of hard to sift through it all at the moment. But yeah, absolutely a corrupt response is what I would say.
Yeah, it's a weird one that, I tell you, it's interesting talking to you. Maybe I have changed. Maybe I have... I still disagree with you with loads of things, but I agree with the concept.
Okay, yeah, let me take a look.
Essence of you. I agree with the right for you to be you. And if you came on here one day and said that you wanted a different pronoun, I wouldn't even remark on it. I'd just go, yeah, right. I don't care. I'm happy. Love is love.
Come over and have a seat.
So, hey, listen, Candice, thank you very much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. Now, get out there in the world and have some fantastic luck. Last time you left the conversation with me, you went out and got a husband. Why not leap straight into polygamy? Go out there, get another one. Or a wife. Why not that?
You've heard it here first. I'm off to get me another husband, because that's just my luck after I do the Russell Brand show. So thank you so much for having me. It's always been so fun. Let's not make it too long next time. And I'm always in the UK, by the way. We could do this in person. I'm married an Englishman, you know.
I know you did. I don't think about that. Come and sit here. Come and be on the show. I'd love that. I'd love that.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks, Candice. And stop saying that my children are like, I like beautiful, but not unnaturally beautiful. Not like
they're just they're like beautiful creatures. Like they're like perfect specimens. Because they would. Guys, I'm telling you, it's bizarre.
Obviously, because they would be. Candice's new docu-series, Convicting a Murderer, which is seemingly made just to annoy people, is available on the Daily Wire, of course, and you can watch episode 1 on YouTube. Her podcast, Candice, is available now. Well, what a fantastic show that was. Remember, tomorrow it's our medical special. Medical experts telling you what to do, trying to drag you on to live for decades more because, I don't know, either you've got to eat meat or never eat meat or sit in a sauna or get freezing cold. They've all got all sorts of crazy ideas they're willing to shove at you. We've got some amazing people coming up. Jimmy Dore, lefty radical. Crystal Ball, lefty radical. Yanis Varoufakis, lefty radical. Eckhart Tolle, spiritual radical, all leading up to a radical turn to the right when Ben Shapiro will be coming on our show. I don't even know if that's chronological order. If you are watching us on Rumble, and you must be because we are here exclusively, click the red awaken button right now to join our local community.
Sign both spots.
Is there no chance to get some pants?
This is training conducted by. That's
you're one of the first 1,000.
Supposed to be
you
for
get
me.
early access to interviews. You get guided meditations. Plus, the screen I have on is the Awakened Wonder one. That's the one I have on right here. You can join our behind-the-scenes meetings and so much more. Now, are you willing to eat meat if it was never alive, if it was cellularly grown in a petri dish? Or would you like fruit to live forever, glossed over in some peculiar glucose pulp? Do you feel that Bill Gates' numerous global endeavors are designed to help you to fight climate change, to fight all sorts of things like food waste and poverty? Or do you think there could be another motive? Certainly Vandana Shiva does. She calls this food fascism. Here's the news. No, here's the effing news.
No, here's the fucking news.
Good news! Bill Gates is investing in lab-grown food, meat and lovely coatings for fruits. Is this in order to reverse climate change and feed the world? Or is it so that the
You still have to wear hairnet even if you're bald.
To selling it could be patented and controlled by Bill Gates?
You said true. The question is, you do not have to wear a hairnet if you are bald.
Foods that are grown in labs and
false.
centrally controlled. Remember, the key issue
Not a
that we
big deal.
discuss here is global corporatism. Are there a network of agencies and interests that are able to transcend national democracy and all forms of democracy, actually, and impose everything on you from censorship to the ability to control food sources? Certainly, our friend Vandana Shiva believes this is precisely the case. Let us know in the comments what you think Bill Gates' role in the world is. Is it that he's a philanthropist who just wants to feed people? Or does he have other motives, and what are they? Let us know right now. Let's have a look at how our friends at the mainstream media are describing this phenomena of lab-grown fruit.
You're not authorized to clean up blood or body fluids unless you have special training for it.
Looking at ways to decentralize power.
And if a bag falls on the floor, it goes into what they call an animal feed container.
Instead of having sensible farmers who have authority in their own life, why not?
Raw materials goes on a pallet with a slip sheet.
Anomalous and morally reprehensible.
No food or beverages in your locker.
But what about lab-grown fruit? New Zealand scientists at Planted
There's a
Food
place in the
Research are
break room
looking
for
at how to
that.
produce fruit without a tree, vine, or bush.
Why are we doing this? Why are we going to all this trouble to subvert and deny nature? Why not just find new ways of taking care of the planet together, which could be done sensibly?
So let's go to the next step of trying to get you some boots, and then we'll go from there. Let me give you some contact info. If you're able to get
The thing is, there's less profit in that. Why is there never any research on how to break up food monopolies? Now over in the lab, people are experimenting on stopping Bill Gates from being so bloody greedy. Stop it, Bill. Stop it. No, I won't, Bill. Stop it. No, I want to control everything. Bill, you don't need any more farms.
It might not look like it now.
Because what it doesn't look like is bogies, boogers, snot. Look at what it does look like is nasal discharge.
Those are cleaned out for blockers.
All right, I'll stick with the Ferrero Rochers.
But this petri dish has the makings of blueberries.
We could have a kind of a whole new growing system for fresh plant foods.
They're preparing for dystopia. Look at the ways you can see the preparation for dystopia take place. Militarization of the police force, growing food in laboratories, having robot dogs patrolling the police, and guys, censorship laws everywhere, the ability for organizations like the WHO.
I already have one for you for Monday.
Centralized currencies where you can switch off the financial power of individuals at will. All of these stories, I swear, we're going to look back at this and say, look, it was so obvious what was happening. We just petri dish full of boogers. That petri dish of boogers means that you're going to spend the rest of your life in a cell.
A system that looks completely different from what we've always known.
We're all aware that the world is changing.
Yeah, we are. Thanks to Bill Gates, we're all aware that the world is changing. Bill Gates actually gave money for these boogers and this haircut.
We've got climate change, which is going to cause quite disruption to our growing systems and where we live and how we grow and where we grow.
And how much authority we give Bill Gates.
Plant and food research is working with cells from a range of fruits, including cherries, peaches, and apples.
Yeah, you're all set. Just reach out to you got your memo.
Reducing the environmental impact of food production.
The wrong trajectory, don't you? So, tell you what, do you think we're creating food in a way that's detrimental? Are there any ways that we could improve that? Let's consult with a variety of agricultural experts from around the world and ensure that we don't put financial incentives across our practical and ecological
other guys like, you can't say something to him, or anything happened to him. They all said no, he was being really weird. Like he was sitting on the bench and he was just staring at the lockers. They're like, he was not saying anything, he was just dead staring at the lockers. He just got up and was like, here.
Away from me, you goddamn racist farmer lunatic. Agriculture in itself, while providing the miracle of incredible availability of food for former hunter-gatherers like you and me, also created interesting hierarchies that are becoming further emboldened with each new successive revolution. When technology and agriculture combine, what you'll have is the ability to absolutely control food. And increasingly, I question the motives of the people that financially back these endeavors. We're always told, this is going to help people, this is going to feed the poor, but you can find ways of feeding the poor, and that doesn't seem to be a bloody priority, does it? Let me know in the comments if you agree.
Researchers say it's not about trying to replicate traditional fruit, but rather creating something new and equally appealing.
I've got to go to war with fruit for. What kind of world are we living in when fruit's a problem? Fruit's all right. Leave fruit alone. Fruit was never the problem. The problem is centralized systems that have become corrupted, communicating with one another, disempowering independent organizations, whether they're agricultural, media, financial, or political, in order to create a vast hegemony in which all of us are just obedient little prisoners. Yeah, but also,
social distance.
Disgusting. Would you prefer to have a square one? Oh, all right, I'll try one. Here you go.
I didn't even know they still had that emoji.
Good and has a nice texture and it's pleasant to eat.
We're having a go at fruit for. Where's your fruit go?
Yeah, inDOCtriNATION.
Disgusting bloody things, isn't it? Have you seen this strawberry nasty little thing? What is all them seeds around the inside of it? Bill Gates isn't able to patent those.
36 questions, he missed like 10.
Putting into these lab-grown fruit to make them nutritional, that we're then putting another
I'm glad he don't have
to keep them nutritional or to counteract
a waste of
that.
time.
Be able to consume it.
There's this constant mistrust of nature herself, the idea that fruit somehow is malign and problematic. Fruit and nature evolved alongside us. We are it. We are not separate from it. The idea that we are overlords that need to construct things in a lab and that will somehow be beneficial. Remember how peaches used to be? Yeah, delicious. This peach will protect you from the next pandemic. How'd you know there's going to be another pandemic? Just eat your fucking peach. The next avocados you buy at a grocery store might stay fresh at least twice as long as they used to. James Rogers founded Appeal in 2012, and the company has raised a total of $110 million in funding from investors who include, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Oh, sure, they won't want anything in return for that investment. Rogers Appeal thinks it can combat the problem of food waste with its primary product, a tasteless, odorless, edible coating made from plant materials. Okay, plant materials. Let's hold that phrase in your mind for a moment. Appeal can keep produce like avocados or oranges from going bad for weeks longer than usual. Again, it's another bolting on to the natural world. I suppose the human project of civilization is fundamentally a denial of nature, but surely there are ways for us to evolve in harmony with nature, for us to acknowledge who we are, what our relationship with the earth and one another is, rather than continuing down this mythic path of progressivism, which seems to be continually empower one set of interests, usually at the cost of ordinary people. The product, Eddie Peel, they're really pleased with that pun, aren't they, is described as a way of prolonging the freshness of produce and as an edible post-harvest coating. Delicious. Eat an edible post-harvest coating. I don't want to. It's making my teeth fall out. We'll grow you a new tooth over here. There you go. It feels funny. My tooth hurts. It's not your tooth. It's the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation's tooth. Why is it green? Ask Bill. Imagine if we go to Monsanto or McDonald's and ask for a bit of sponsorship. What kind of answers do you think we get? The answer is no. But these guys sponsored us. Therefore, I endorse them, and if you can use their product, please do. Stay to the end. I'll make it funny. Now, do you think your face enjoyed the summer as much as you did? If you're British, your face barely had a summer. But ladies and gentlemen, here's Ella from Rockford, Illinois. I have both age and acne spots, and this stuff is actually fading both of them. This serum is worth every penny. That is Ella talking about the dark spot corrector from Genucell, a must-have after months of record heat and humidity. What's causing this stuff? Sunspots, brown spots, discoloration, and even red inflamed patches all appear in front of your very eyes, and it's got to be stopped. And here's the Genucell amazing guarantee. You'll see results in 1 day or your money back. So you've just got 24 hours. Take advantage of Genucell's most popular package, which now includes the dark spot corrector, plus the classic Genucell bags and puffiness treatment, all at, I can't believe I'm saying this, at 70% off. So you can try the best skincare in the world for yourself, completely risk-free. It's simple. Go to Genucell.com/promo today and start looking years, even decades younger tomorrow. That's Genucell.com/promo. You'll see results day one, and you'll get compliments everywhere you go. Guaranteed. Lovely. Who doesn't like a compliment? Appeal's plant-based protective coating is made of materials that naturally exist in the peels, seeds, and pulp of fruits and vegetables that we commonly consume. I'm hearing a lot though about how seed oils are really bad for us and they're giving us heart conditions, cancer, diabetes.
Digital dentist.
Like Callie means. Let me know in the comments. The safety of these compounds
is he trans?
by regulatory
That's
authorities,
weird.
including
It's a
the
weird
US Food
question.
and Drug Administration, and you know where they get their money, and the World Health Organization, and you know where they get their money. So it's extraordinary to see that what's offered as an unbiased regulatory body is funded, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation significantly funds the WHO. Like, what are they doing? Hey, excuse me, I'd like to get some approval for this lacquer that I want to put on fruit to make fruit last longer. And could I ask me? Oh, well, I do approve of this.
I'm going to need a little more money. Oh, come on, you. Well, it's all for a good cause. We got to do something about climate change. God, it's so expensive. Like, I keep it all. How can you have your product verified by an organization that you're the second biggest contributor to? That doesn't make sense. That's not regulation. That's a way of avoiding regulation through careful investment. But it's not just lab-grown fruits that Bill Gates is interested in. It's money. No, not money. Also, lab-grown meat. For you, of course. And the climate. Bill Gates has said rich nations would help the global fight against climate change by moving to 100% synthetic beef. Let's see if he's investing in any. Gates has already invested in lab-grown meat startup Upside Foods and has invested in multiple plant-based meat companies, including Impossible and Beyond Meat. Oh, thanks for the financial and dietary tips, Bill. One side of Bill comes up with the idea, the other side of Bill approves it, and the rest of us have to eat that stuff. But how will these new scientific advances even positively impact climate change? Lab-grown meat has been touted as a way to save the planet, but a new study suggests its green credentials are not as solid as many believe. Researchers have revealed that lab-grown
Starve the planet, is that what he said?
cultivating animal cells is up to 25 times worse for the climate than real beef. Oh, well, thanks. It's only 25 times worse for the climate. Production of real meat has a huge carbon footprint because it requires water, feed, and the clearing of trees to make way for cattle. Despite this, experts say the carbon footprint of lab-grown meat could be orders of magnitude higher once the industry grows. Experts think lab-grown meat is set to become more ubiquitous in the next 10 years, transforming from a niche concept to a common fridge staple. But for this to happen, production methods will have to be scaled up from mere Petri dishes to massive energy-intensive industrial units. You can't make a comparison between a Petri dish and an energy-intensive industrial unit. Look at this. This is much less energy than that cow. Okay, well, can you make a lot of it? We certainly can. Fire up, boys! It's an entirely different proposition of that scale. And even as a vegan, who only actually doesn't eat meat because I think it's cruel, I still find it somehow distasteful, unpleasant, weird, and at odds with the direction that we're supposed to be going in, to eat meat grown in a laboratory. This is not the solution. This is just another variation on the problem. In the study, the scientists estimated the energy required for stages of lab-grown meat's production from the ingredients making up the growth medium and the energy required to power laboratories and compared this with beef. They largely focused on the quantity of growth medium components, including glucose, amino acids, vitamins, growth factors, salts, and minerals. They found the global warming potential of lab-grown meat ranged from 246 to 1,508 kilograms of CO2 equivalent per kilogram of lab-grown meat, which is 4 to 25 times greater than the average global warming potential of retail beef. Again, I'm not a person who is pro-meat, and I'm certainly not pro-industrialized meat. I am pro-freedom, I am pro you making your own choices for your family and your diet, and I am aware that there is a global effort to disempower and destroy farmers. I believe because farmers are an important part of the chain of survival, i.e. they are connected to the land, they are growing food. There is no question there are challenges around agriculture and areas where agriculture could be improved. But I don't think that the motives of these centralized globalist endeavors is to improve the ecology. I don't think it's to improve anything. I think it's to gain control and to make money. I think those are always the motives. I don't believe that these kind of interests are here to help us. Let me know what you think in the comments. I want agricultural workers and farmers to feel empowered
Vegan?
and part of
Fuck
the community.
vegan.
We've moved
Sorry.
so far away.
I have
from
no problem. My wife's
traditional
vegetarian.
models where all of us feel like we are invested in the food cycle, the cycle of life, communication with one another, but we're willing to countenance an idea where why don't we give centralized authority to some lab-grown meat, lab-grown fruit, patented seeds, unelected, powerful
I'm a
entities,
baconarian.
half-regulated by other unelected entities that they also fund. This seems to me to be a further advance of globalism that's plainly taken us in the wrong direction, that isn't popular with ordinary people, and no one asked us if we wanted it. And the only way they can continue to justify it is that, oh, we're helping you, we're helping you, we're helping the environment. But the facts do not support that. Earlier this year in the US, the Food and Drug Administration declared cultured meat safe for human consumption, paving the way for them to be sold stateside. But in the UK, the Food Standards Agency is yet to do the same. Better call the FDA. Hello? Could you approve this new lab-grown meat? Well, look, I know that that's also me, so I'm going to say yes. In fact, this is a waste of money on this phone call, but at least it didn't damage me. The industry has since grown to more than 150 companies as of late 2022, backed by $2.6 billion in investments, according to the Good Food Institute. Let's see what Vandana Shiva said about this issue, and in particular Bill Gates, at the Community Festival earlier this year.
When the junk food industry was trying to rewrite our laws on food safety, food and health safety.
Milk is actually
I wrote
awesome.
a very quick briefing paper for our parliament, and it's called food fascism. And I said, stop this food fascism. So when your seed is controlled by Monsanto, your trade is controlled, your chicken are controlled by Cargill, your junk food, and therefore you're creating diseases controlled by Coke, Pepsi, Nestle. All of this is a system of food fascism. And then the next step of Silicon Valley and the techno billionaires wanting to invest in fake food so that not only do you have one patent on a seed,
You don't
now
have
you
enough
have
land
14
for
patents
cows.
on an Impossible Burger. On every fake food, there are hundreds of patents because every synthetic artificial element has a patent behind it. Can you imagine if they hold the whole world to shift to fake food, how much royalty collection they'll have? That's what they are looking at. And what we have to do is take the simple thing, same simple thing as a scarf, right? If Gandhi could spin and say, we will make our own cloth, and we said in Navdanya, we will save our own seeds. We will never let seeds be the monopoly of the Monsantos and the buyers. We have to do that now. And we have enough time because not only is their fake food not ready, it's failing financially. We are doing a report. Many companies have gone bankrupt. Many companies are bankrupt. So we need to look at the failed system, the fascist system, and say, No, you're part of the fascist system. Don't try and call us fascists. We are the new freedom movement.
So there you are. Is lab-grown meat, lab-grown fruit, lab-grown fruit coating a way to help us
delicious but
save the
pricks.
environment, or is it an attempt to garner?
Yeah, I'm not eating fake. My wife eats fake meat all the time.
Of our lives, to separate us from
I
nature, to
get
separate
her
us
to
from one
eat some
another,
good
to
meat
separate us
every
even
once
from
in
the
a while,
concept
too.
of democracy,
Nice
because everything
natural.
is centralized and regulated in some stratosphere inaccessible to ordinary people. Is it food fascism, or is it
Yeah, sure. You can
pro-climate,
try to just
pro-people?
keep a bunch of chickens and goats.
Bill Gates or Vandana Shiva?
I wanted to
I'm
do a
going with
chicken
Vandana
coop
Shiva.
this
That's
summer.
what I think. Let me know what you think in the chat. Until next time, if you
It
can.
was after another at the homestead.
Now here's the fucking
As me putting it off at least another year.
I'm not convinced it's any y'all's business what I'm doing.
Excuse me. Hello.
Yeah.
Sergeant Harris, nice to meet you.
Hi.
Okay, these are all closed businesses. You don't have any warrants, you're free to go. You need to dispel our alarm while you're stopped in front of 2 businesses that are closed.
Okay, like I said, I'm not convinced it's any of your business what I'm doing.
Listen, if you're a private investigator and you're working, that's fine.
I'm still not convinced it's any of your business. Yeah, so am I free to go?
No, but you need to understand this is
excuse
our
me.
traffic stop.
Excuse me.
You don't run it.
Ooh, comes out at 4. Let's open this up for now. See what else we can find. We'll keep that on in the background. That won't be any. I've tasted it just to see how close it is, and honestly, it does taste very close to beef, like the hamburger. It tastes pretty close, but no. Hers is more about the animal protein and all that stuff. Not, you know, these animals are on this planet for us to consume. You can't tell me that humans are predators in every other way except for in the way we eat. Missed a ton of shit this morning. Oh, I know what I'm going to put on. It's going to be quarterings. Shit for today. You put something. Here it is.
Joined by the Roseanne Barr. I'm so glad.
You're very welcome. Nice to be here.
Who is Jeremy and what is the quartering? Well, I'm a commentator, I guess. I'm a Midwestern dude who uploads 4 to 5 videos a day covering everything from big tech to YouTube to technology to pop culture, movies, video games, whatever's going on in the world, I've got you covered. We're still on YouTube right now. Bud Light has decided to just quadruple down in the face of losing nearly $30 billion. Reimagine. I'm sorry, again, listen again, I'm out of practice. Reimaginings. They are literally trying to put a content creator in prison for their opinions. You're going to find interviews on my channel. You're going to find deep dives. You're going to find
issues yesterday.
news. You're going to find long-term coverage. Everything you need to stay in touch, you're going to find on the quartering. If you're watching this video, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. I really think you're going to find 1 or 2 videos a day that you really enjoy.
And as soon as I hope it's gonna go. Go to speed up a little bit too. Since we're way behind. There we go. It's muted. Of course it's muted. You're fucking muted, idiot. Not the smartest Midwesterner.
Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? Good boy.
Needs more energy.
Papa's here. Come on. Come on. Yes. Say hi, Haki. Oh, you are a good boy. Yes. All right. Good morning, everybody. Interesting. Where the hell did Glizzy come from? Why did everybody start saying Glizzy?
I never heard it.
I don't understand.
What the fuck is Glizzy?
I never
Somebody asked
heard
about
it before Urban Rescue Ranch, and then like now everyone just calls hot dogs Glizzies.
No, is that what the name for hot dogs are?
Never in my life have I heard of a Glizzy. I legitimately thought it was something like completely different. It's a New York thing, but why is it everywhere now?
Why is it a New York thing everywhere?
Everybody. Trying, I don't know. I couldn't. Now, well, Starlink went down for like an hour last night, and I thought, okay, maybe that's what was going on with the stream yesterday. But I've also been having some, I don't know, weird issues with StreamYard. So I replaced that just for today to see if that helps. So you don't get the fancy background. You do see more of my stuff. That's a Raptor Lego down there. Also for the culture, you know, just for the boys, Ferda. Shout out. Shout out for the boys. Ferda. Okay, I'm all ready, I think. We'll see. We'll see if we have better results today on the stream. The boys. The jar of yeast. Oh, the yeast beer is on the way. It's being produced. I think would be the terminology for it. Got lots to talk about today. Interesting expose on Pornhub, essentially admitting that they know rapists use their website and make money off of it, and they're cool with that.
Yeah, I was on Crowder this morning. They actually talked to the female who went undercover.
With the rapes. They're cool. They're cool. Paying money out. They're cool with paying money out to people. Too paying content creators, rape creators. Pretty cool. let's get right into that. How's everybody's whatever day it is today? What day is it?
Wednesday.
Wodensday. Okay. It's hump day. Happy hump day, everybody. Let's take a look. First, I want to give a huge shout out to the woman that got this tape, which is Arden Young.
Yeah,
okay, getting that ready. Okay. Define rapists. I don't think I should have to. I'm pretty sure you know what that is. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Bask in the glow of Nancy. It's so bright and warm underneath her. So this is Arden Young. If you want to give her a follow, she works for Sound Investigations, and she will be joining me in 60 minutes to talk about this. And it's pretty messed up. But I'm gonna. You should definitely follow her and tell her the quartering sent you.
She was on Crowder this morning too.
Let's go ahead and make sure we repost that. And let's look at the God. Guys are so stupid when they're trying to get laid. Look, I'm gonna ask her about this, but like,
you're dirty.
I'm assuming he was on a date with her, and I'm gonna assume he got honeypotted.
Good.
Like, guys are so dumb.
Yep.
It doesn't take away from her hard work, but it does make it easier, I think. Not easier, but like, I don't know. Already saw it on Crowder today. You're better than this. What does that even mean, bro? Only one person can cover a story? What does that? I'm better than. What does that mean?
He reads all the comments.
Yeah, Hot Girl Summer for quartering guests. Roseanne, Sid, Amaranth. You don't want me to play this because I won't play the whole thing.
How are you gonna tell me like who's in that video of the girls not showing their face? Like that would hold in court. That would be the loophole that I always like. I look at that and I'm like, that's stupid, but everybody is just kind of rolling with it.
Why don't they just roll with it? Why don't they say something?
It costs money.
Who exploits the
Everyone. You make a lot of money.
do rapists use it or?
We've brought it up to the CPO, we brought it up to the CLO, and they're both telling us it's all good. And the CPO is especially telling us, like, fuck off, it's all good. Like, stop.
So they know the
like,
risk.
Like, shut up. No, it's all good.
So essentially, they go through this. Guy goes on, and he admits that people at Pornhub know that their models are being raped and don't care. I'd say that's kind of a big deal. It's kind of a big deal. It's kind of a big, it's kind of a big deal. And then, there's a particular part of this video that I thought was really interesting. In order to get paid on like YouTube and stuff like that, you have to provide a lot. You have to provide a lot of verification to actually, not only are they allowing these videos on their site with very little, oh, sorry, I'm getting distracted by the chat. I don't think he was particularly well prepared, but thing. Yeah, I wasn't. I didn't. I was prepared for the Amaranth interview. I had like all those questions pre-done. I just think that people wanted me to be like more rough on her, and I think that you ask some, uh-oh.
Really counterintuitive for the business.
Pro tip. I'm gonna give her a pro tip. Don't trap your people with copyrighted music in the background. It makes it more difficult to cover.
you basically don't want to make your company more compliant than it has to be, right?
Yeah.
Because then it's just wasted money. Like, not only does it cost money to make it compliant, you're reducing the income because of that too. You're spending money on making less money.
Pornhub allows anyone to upload pornographic videos as long as the person uploading shows an ID, such as a driver's license. However, Farley describes a major loophole. These supposedly verified uploaders can upload videos of people without showing their faces, and Pornhub does not verify these videos contain consenting adults. These uploaders can then monetize these videos to gain a share of Pornhub's ad revenue. Our journalist later asked if abusers actually use this loophole.
Who exploits the loophole?
Fucking everybody. Everyone. Make a lot of money. So for example, like I could sign up tomorrow, I submit my ID, I'm putting all my real identification, my bank account, everything, and just rip content from other people, where it's like, this guy's like body and his dick looks like it could be mine, based on my face, I don't know, some shit like that, right? Like, okay, I'm tall and slim, okay, this guy, okay, whatever, he looks kind of similar. I just rip those videos, upload them as my own, and the people who review my video would probably be like, yeah, this is him. Be like, that's close enough, and I'm gonna make thousands of dollars. I didn't do shit.
That would make me more mad. That would be more. That's worse. Real. I don't know. Pretend some people have those fantasies. No. He's saying like real people. Real crimes.
Easy way to make money.
What's like the worst that could happen with a loophole like that?
Including for who?
I mean,
Us?
do rapists use it, or
Of course.
what about like human traffickers or something? Like, could they use that loophole?
To do make money? Of course.
Yeah.
I content partners like worse.
You can get that.
Who these content partners are, we're still trying to find out. Farley says he has brought up this loophole to officers of the company, but even the chief product officer has told him to, quote, shut up.
You said there is a
lot more with that.
By the way, how stupid is? I mean, this guy. Like, guys get like vagina drunk, and they can't like. I mean, she's asking very specific questions about inner workings of his company that is in business of selling porn, and he doesn't figure it out. At no point does he figure out, oh, I'm getting jebaited here. At no point. Now maybe he will come out and say, I wanted. He like actually genuinely believes that it's wrong, and he actually genuinely wants to like get the word out. But he's been working there for 10 years, so I don't think so. I use a similar methodology to Jim. Jim wrote, if a hot girl is suddenly interested in me, my red flags are flying. She's either a fat or a dude. I have this policy like on my Facebook. Like if some good looking chick adds me as a friend, like I'm immediately like, oh, she's a bot. And I've never been wrong. Like, it's just, you get like a spontaneous friend request from some super good looking girl. I'm like, nah, declined. Like every time, and I've never been wrong. Usually I'm like, oh look, they have 3 posts on their profile and they work at McDonald's and they went to Harvard. Like, nope. Just send me the virus now. Because I know that's what you would want. You're just some Indian dude. To Coffee Brand Coffee Warehouse folks, thanks for the order fulfillment. I didn't realize I cloned my last order, but it's all good. Oh no. Sorry.
a loophole where it's obvious that faces on IDs,
Yeah.
you can't match the body.
And that's not this is more like that's a business decision of the VP. Like the CPO knows, and as long as like we made a meeting where we're like, yo, like it's like kind of sketch, man, and he's just like, yeah, well, like that's what we're saying, like it's okay. Like that.
Wait, you said?
I think that ultimately have a scenario here where I actually understand the business side of why they're doing what they're doing. I'm not condoning it, but I'm saying that I understand no company is going to do more than they're legally required. That's just bad business. I 100% understand what he's saying, and why they do what they do. Obviously, I don't agree with it, but like, I think that, ultimately it all makes sense.
Make it make sense.
Then what?
Like he's basically saying it's okay because like
What's okay?
because the CPO of the company is like the chief product officer, so he just wants to make money as much as possible and grow his product. And then you have Matt Calici, who's like the VP, chief legal officer, so CLO, I guess. And
Right,
his
guys, I'll be
job
right back.
is, like putting sticks in this guy's wheel, you know what I mean? Being like, yo, that's not okay, yo, that's not okay.
I get what he's doing here. I understand. Hey, Bill Tong. I gave you a shout out yesterday because Bill Tong came up. I gave you welcome back. I know what he's doing here. He's trying to straddle both the clout of working at Pornhub, but somehow also virtue signaling about how it's evil to ultimately get his wiener wet. That's actually what he's doing here. He's saying, well, I work there, and yeah, but I'm always standing up to them. I'm always standing up to the evil people that work at Pornhub. By the way, Pornhub owns everything. They own YouPorn. They own all the major porn sites. I can't really, name them all off the top of my head, but they own basically the entire space.
Okay, like he's the one he's got the foot on the brake, and the other guy's got the foot on the gas, And obviously, like the CPO is not gonna do anything more compliant than is asked by the CLO, right? And this
That's true.
isn't something that the CLO is.
Okay,
that's true.
Underage.
Not that vaguely, but like the specific issue of like people's driver's license or like their IDs, they're telling us like who you are.
Shout out to this guy being a good
You're
dad.
giving me a driver's license, it's just your face. I don't know what your body looks like, right? And now on a video, I'm supposed to like assume that it's you or not you based on your body, but maybe you're not showing your face. It's very common, right? It's adult content. A lot of people make it.
A pretty easy way to like it's a pretty easy way to actually verify. I think you could probably verify them very easily if you had a policy on your website that was like any user uploaded content, before you get to the business of getting to the business, in the first 5 seconds you have to upload like a picture of you holding your ID or something like that, and then the first 5 seconds of every video automatically gets cut off when you upload it, so that at any moment a Pornhub staff could just verify that it's actually you in the video. Like it'd be pretty easy to do that. And if you just added a step like that, I would predict that it'd be pretty easy to then check at any time if you wanted to. Plus, facial recognition is pretty easy. Yeah, the tech is already there.
Thousands, never showing their face, but their ID is just their face. You can't ask somebody to upload your like head to toe naked ID. Like you can't ask that. Like legally, you can't ask that.
So the VP is okay with.
The CLO is not like to him. It's not. I guess it's not a concern. Like it's not something he's imposing on the CPO. We think it's unprotected, so we've brought it up to the CPO. We brought it up to the CLO, and they're both telling us it's all good. And the CPO is especially telling us like, "Fuck off, it's all good." Like stop.
So they know the
like,
risk.
Like shut up.
For everyone just joining or who's confused, this is an undercover video that came out yesterday from a Pornhub employee who's been there for 10 years, who admits that they're rapists and trafficking victims on their website, and they know that and they don't care, and they're choosing to not do even the barest of minimum of things to stop it. You want to consider getting a hypocrite on your Friday interviews? Just thoughts, since you have overlapping base, but a little more to the right. I feel like I've been on his show before. Yeah, I'd have him.
CPO is
he basically got O'Keefe'd bad.
He's our boss, basically. And we're supposed to not worry about the compliance and legal side. We're supposed to operate within the guidelines given to us by them. But if they fuck up, we're not supposed to like help them regulate us. We're like regulating ourselves based on our own logic because it wasn't imposed on us by them. We're like just using my fucking head. Like, this is fucking, I wouldn't be able to defend this in court. Tell me, defend this. Tell me this is good. They're like, yeah, it's all good. All right. Our CPO is like, yeah, it's all good, man. Don't worry. Like, but we made like a recorded meeting of that. So never shipped it. record, me and my boss Ramsey would definitely identify that as being.
He thinks that'll protect him in court. Like he thinks that's going to protect him in court. That him and his boss said, "Hey, there's this stuff." By the way, this guy. He looks worse because he looks worse because he keeps saying he knows about it and he keeps going into work every day and participating in it.
Oh yeah, she's hot. That's that Asian, half Asian girl.
For being like a lot of people like at my level and up.
Crowder did cover this earlier today, but I don't know why the audience is freaking out.
Like the government want to know like how does
That's a big thing.
What's happening?
I want to try and get it as exposed as much as possible.
Luckily, I haven't had to do that. Gosh, yeah. We have like corporate lawyers that like brief you on what to say. We're basically always just saying
Even if you know.
Pretty much.
Oh, he thinks he's getting so laid. Cheerful Cynic, do you have any tips for uploading to Rumble more effectively? Whenever I try to upload, it takes like 10 times before. That I don't know. I never have a problem. One thing I do before I upload, I'll get you catch up. I'll summarize everything here in a second. Everything I do, I use Handbrake to make the file much smaller, so I'm not uploading like 1 gigabyte files. You know. So just to catch everybody up, there's only like a minute or 2 minutes after this video, but this guy has been working at Pornhub for 10 years. He's getting O'Keefed right now. And he thinks, and he says, hey, my bosses know that sex traffickers use our website. They don't care. My bosses know that rapists use our website, and they don't care. They refuse to do anything about it because it costs them money. Like, not even the bare minimum. The second the story came out, he also deleted his LinkedIn.
Who would it?
Well, it's like they have to ask a very, like if they ask you a vague question, you can like get away by saying you don't know because you don't know all the answers to the vague question. But if they ask you a specific question that you know the answer to, you can't. But like you play on the way they ask the question to be able to complete it. It's all just stupid.
While Farley seems afraid of going to court, Pornhub seems to think it won't get caught.
What if, like, the government was to find out about this loophole? What would they do?
I don't know. They're not going to do shit. They'll do nothing. They don't know shit. They're not qualified to identify shit. They already did their investigation. They were satisfied. They technically checked everything, said that it's all good. So they can't really go back on that.
They actually can go back on that.
So if they knew what you knew now, would they be satisfied?
Yeah. I don't know. Allegedly. I don't know. Why? You like work for the government or something?
Ah, he said it! He said it! He did pick up on it. He did pick up on it. He's like, I'm getting O'Keefed. It's happening. And he did finally that, and it was at that moment he knew he had fucked up. Oopsies. Fed. I thought she was. It was it's funny that she was asking such specific, like, I understand that there's a fine line between there's a fine line of like getting somebody to say specific stuff to catch them and then also like not giving yourself away. She had asked many questions on what appears to be just one hangout, one event or something like that. And she was getting pretty specific.
Finally, Farley presents an obvious solution, but says Pornhub's profits come first.
But what's the solution then? What's your solution? Like, what should be happening that's not?
You should have contact up that you can't identify the person.
How would you do that?
Huh?
How would that be done?
Because they would lose a lot of money. That's why they don't want to do it. It's fine. I'm not saying it's the wrong answer. It's for them to call the shots. If I was in their position, I'd probably do what they're doing too. They're like, I'm not going to get caught. It's fine.
I'm not going to get caught. Yeah. So shout out to Sound Investigations. Oh, they have more employees. They have more coming out.
Wow.
Yeah, it's interesting. By the way, if you want, this is Arden Young. Let me put them in the
Impact Employment. Speaking, how can I help you?
In the description. I think that there's going to be more coming. It's going to be pretty interesting.
No.
How can free porn sites afford to exist? Who's paying them? Who's funding them? Advertisers. Just like YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Just like YouTube. There are many advertisers in the adult industry that have a lot of products to sell. I mean, there are people that, sell cum pills and all this kind of stuff.
Is that the green card?
Sex toys. That industry is gigantic. Like, I bet you that the advertising revenue that porn actors make, pornographers make, is their CPMs comes per minute. No. Their CPMs are probably much higher than YouTubers.
No, they own.
And also, I think
like Amazon or
some sort of
like that.
Membership premium option.
Now, what do they do?
Things like that.
Let's look it up.
This guy was obviously very dumb. He was vaginally blind.
Mm-hmm.
Some of her questions were stealth, but by the end, her questions were very specific, and she sounded kind of nervous. Like, he should have, he should have known. He should have known. He was only following orders. That's right, guys. Yeah, that's right.
They own Pornhub, Brazers, digital. Yeah, they're basically porn
for the day.
Just porn. Digital Playground, Twisties.
Dumber. I don't know. I don't think I have. Although he had that look in his eye.
Their headquarters is in Luxembourg.
I'm probably saying something I shouldn't, but I'm getting laid. That's what I would suspect. I can't say for sure, but it'd be interesting. So we have an exceedingly cringe ad. Exceedingly cringe. Exceedingly cringe ad.
How happens?
Now, I don't know what I can say about this, but we're going to watch it together, and we're going to enjoy just how many thumbs down it gets. It has.
Printing.
It's wild.
Jam.
Wild women. How's that go? Wild women do. No. I don't know. So Apple. Let's go. Actually, this will be for the YouTubes.coms. I have to write this down now because I'm using different software. All right. I think we'll be back to the other software tomorrow. I'm just going to reinstall it. Well, I have an maximally cringe video for you today. That's right. Apple hires angry black woman to play Mother Earth in what is possibly the most cringe-inducing ad I've ever seen from any company, perhaps ever. No, I shouldn't say that. Is it on the levels of the Gillette? Is it on the same levels as the Gillette Don't Be Toxic masculine? I suppose it's probably not that bad. But it is getting demolished online. It is getting ratioed into oblivion on YouTube and Twitter, and they have disabled the comments. I wonder why they would do that. And we're going to get into that after a super quick word from this video sponsor, which you all watching me live don't have to see. It's going to be, I think, Magic Spoon.
Good to see you, bud.
All right. So we have a lot of, one thing that I don't like, Elon robbed me of. Elon robbed us all of the quote tweets. It's very frustrating. Very annoying. Because now I can't see everybody dunking on it. Tim Apple puts
when did that disappear?
Writes, at
I just
Apple,
quote tweeted somebody the other day.
We believe that climate change is one of the world's most urgent priorities, and we are deeply committed to doing our part. Yeah, that's why they get all their cobalt from child labor. Maybe they should stop getting all their cobalt from little children in Africa and China. Today we had a special guest, a real force of nature, stop by to check in on our progress. I mean, and the comments are hilarious. This takes cringe to new heights. Nobody's buying your BS. Nobody's stopping the climate from changing. Stop wasting your time.
Yeah, you can still do it.
You should also
why can't you
on Uyghur Muslim slaves, 3,000 likes. Oh, here, stop using child labor for your cobalt. Yep, Mother Nature neglected to leave that little bit off her sprawling critique. Climate change, people take climate change, agenda. You guys are such sheep from Mythinform. Geez. Clown cult. I mean, I don't see anybody. It's like they used bots to like this. There's nobody in the replies that I see that is like, wow, awesome, neat. Like, then stop making new phones every year. Make phones upgradable. Well, that's a good point. Like, that would be great. You wouldn't have to keep manufacturing new cobalt, mining new cobalt every year if you actually took the time to let us upgrade our phones and add storage. So all of your products consume zero energy. You ripping lithium and cobalt out of the ground on vehicles that run on rainbows. This video is propaganda for spoiled virtue signaling climatards, and the earth hates you. I mean, how far do I have to, you see here, funny how diverse this advertisement is when the majority of Apple leadership are white and Asian men. Why are you hiding them? You should reward them for turning Apple into a multi-billion-dollar company. Sad to work for a company that's ashamed of you. I mean, everybody in this comments, here's people, slave labor. I don't know exactly what they're working on, but they don't look happy about it. Of course, they have the infamous nets. I believe these did exist at their factories in China because too many people were trying to jump off the roof to end it all. Like, I mean, nobody in here. Nobody. There's absolute. Now, have I adequately prepared you for the cringe at Foxconn? Yeah, the nets. Here we go.
Welcome to Apple. Welcome to Apple. Hi, I'm Tim.
Dude, there's not the only white person in the room is Tim Apple.
How is the weather coming? Hi, I'm Tim.
And why are they all overweight? Everybody's overweight, and it's painfully diverse. It's like immersion breaking diverse. Like, just put a ton of pollutants into the air when you manufacture products. Just because you put up a windmill across the country doesn't undo what you put in the air in the first place. This is the most brain dead dreck I've ever seen in my life. How do they make the plastics? How do they make the How do they make the lithium batteries in them? Are they powered by unicorn farts?
Pretty sweet.
I don't even understand. Absolute brain deadness. Hope you enjoyed. By the way, somebody in the comments said that I said something negative about Dr. Disrespect. I don't know. I think you must be confusing with someone else. I've been pretty on the record defending that guy exclusively. So I think you must be thinking of someone else. I definitely didn't imply what you said I implied. I don't remember.
Don't mess with the doctor.
By the way, shout out to King of Biltong. Good afternoon from Anton's in Roanoke, Texas. Been a hard week. We've completely rebuilt landofbiltong.com. Use code THEQ for free shipping. Yeah, check it out. Longtime supporter. Try out some biltong. It's good for you. It's healthy. A lot of people don't even know what it is. Over at landofbiltong.com and antonusa.com. The Shadowband says every Apple employee should spend 1 week working at a coltan mine, learning where the raw materials come from. Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, I understand that this stuff is a part of having to manufacture. I'm not buying their bologna sausage, we're just everything's sunshine and rainbows now. We actually make the world a better place. We have to make the world a better place.
Pickled bologna sausage.
By the way, if you're enjoying the stream, and I hope that you are, leave a like on it if you would be so kind.
Impact employment.
There's a little Rumble button right there. You can click up, and then if you haven't yet,
okay.
If this follow button is green, make sure you follow me. I'm live every day at this time, from noon to 2, and I would absolutely love if you follow me. It's really the only way to find my videos. If you don't click the like button, Joe Biden will sniff you in your sleep. And if you want to support the channel directly, there's 2 ways. You can click the join button, and for $5 a month, get direct access to me and monthly members only videos, and help support my meme editors and my full-time and things of that nature.
Call
be absolutely great.
Monica
and then
number, that way she can, because it's difficult when I don't by doing I can't even do it for a spouse. So
we roast our own. I dial in every single flavor from soup to nuts. We do everything. We're not some drop shipping
maybe have
corporation.
Her call Monica's
we have our
cell
own
phone
roasters. We have our own fulfillment employees. We make our own coffee. And this fall, I'm rolling out
that number?
2 fall flavors, both pumpkin pie, which is
you have Monica's
delicious.
Number? Okay.
And our super popular Spike Jack line.
Right.
These are 2 different
if
flavors.
You don't shoot me a text, and
they're
I'll text
very,
you.
very good. Available in whole bean and ground over at coffeebrandcoffee.com. And if you use promo code under attack, one word, you'll save 15%.
Pumpkin pie. Huh?
So that would be, you would be very cool if you check that out. All right. The new bags are in production, probably not till next year, because we don't have time to change everything up before, because we're ramping up for Christmas for the gift boxes, because our gift boxes always sell out. So we're trying to.
I don't know. Maybe send it to them.
Happy Mars says if Apple removed planned obsolescence from their phones, it would do.
I'd like to come down there and record with you at
100%
that specific place.
Any idea when Rumble will get
Is it Marion?
Available for audiences? I don't know what that is. Are you talking about
Did you upload that video yet?
You can super chat.
Sorry, all these questions. I don't know why I get notifications for
it's
you.
right in the chat box. You see that little $sign in the bottom left? You can super chat from there.
There's still interesting little pumpkin things
down here.
Pumpkin is awesome.
Oh, you can't. Oh, yeah, maybe you can see it.
A month ago.
Anyway,
you have the link.
How many different plugs do we need? Well, just my coffee company. Oh, still not on mobile. Oh yeah, I suspect there'll be a lot more if they get it going on mobile. Where's Rumble Rick? Is he in here? Now, let's talk about some other news.
With this on this channel, Conk.
App needs an update. Needs an update bad. Yeah. Oh, Rumble Rants work on iOS mobile. Rumble has some cool stuff outside.
Sheriff at Medical Marijuana.
Okay. Pay-per-view UFC Live. Oh yeah.
Found it. Yeah.
Rants only on iPhone currently. Okay. Well, they need to get it on Android. Creators, there's not really a lot of ad revenue going around. I'm a pretty big channel, but there's not a ton of it. Anybody who's making it on Rumble is either using their locals or
next day revisit. Okay.
Rants. That's the only way people are really making money right now. There's some ad revenue, but it ain't much. It isn't what I would say is like. It isn't much, even for a channel my size.
Personalized. Let me switch it to all.
It's not much.
Start getting more notifications for you.
I do 360 video content, but Rumble doesn't support that yet. I would pay them to have my content here if I could. Oh, sure. Oh, you can rant on app with iPhone, not on Android yet. Okay. Thanks, Cam. No, Rumble rants are they're in the chat. Anyway. Well, what is going on, everyone? I just wanted to let you know. I wanted to reach out. This story's really good. If you didn't see this movie, it's director Ava DuVernay, who's a moron, a woke cultist that produces woke garbage movies, like a documentary on Colin Kaepernick, as if anyone cared, is now blaming white men for another movie failure. Listen, fellas.
Good. Keep it up.
White ones. I don't know. I don't know how many more times I can ask you to stop being racist. If a black person makes a movie, in particular a black woman, you must go see it. You must go see it to prove that you are not racist. At least according to them. Now, this is the same person that produced bangers like A Wrinkle in Time and Colin in Black and White, the Colin Kaepernick story.
Okay, I'll start at 17.
This is a woman that makes
You're gathered
exclusively
outside there at
movies
17.
that are meant to appeal to black folks, I would assume. And that's fine, 100% fine. But then you don't get to be mad when they don't see your films, when they don't want to go see your movie. Ava DuVernay says racism and sexism is to blame for audiences being more excited about Oppenheimer than her Isabel Wilkerson biopic. What? I've never even heard of that person. According to director Ava DuVernay, the lack of interest in her upcoming Isabel Wilkerson biopic, Origin, compared to the similarly structured Oppenheimer, she's putting herself in the same category as Christopher Nolan. And a story about somebody who nobody's ever heard of with the guy responsible for the nuclear bomb. Are you kidding me? Born in 1961, Wilkerson is perhaps best known for having been per the National Association of Black Journalists, quote, the first black journalist to win a Pulitzer Prize for individual reporting and the first black woman to win a journalism prize. Ooh, sign me up to pay $15 to watch that. Super exciting. Super exciting for me to tune in for that. How I better buy my ticket now. A movie about a journalist. And pardon me if I don't care about if they were the first black anything. Just like I don't care about the first white person to do anything. It's stupid. I don't care.
Imagine
now,
they're open on the
I
weekend.
understand why black people might be interested in that, but you wrote a story specifically to appeal to black people, and you're mad that white people don't want to see it. That's exactly what's going on here. I don't have any problem with this movie existing.
Thanks for the follow.
Audience.
Twitch.
But when you make a movie specifically tied to a super niche of people, and then you're butthurt that people don't want to go see it.
Appreciate you.
I mean, one person changed the entire world in Oppenheimer. Won a war. This person wrote a newspaper article. Okay, yes, I get it. Racism was a thing and it sucked. Okay. But I just don't care. It's just a race hustle. And the only way anyone cares about what this woman has to say is when she says stupid stuff like this. I mean, it's already been in Oprah's book club. Good for that. Good for them. I'm sure she has a very exciting story. It is Wilkerson's argument that in cast, as well as in her general life story, that inspired DuVernay to adapt the book into a semi-biographical film about the journalist. Speaking on her upcoming film to Variety's Angelique Jackson, the woman once attached to helm the DC's New Gods film, explained, quote, it has biographical elements in some ways, so it's not even a biopic. It's a biopic. In some ways, it's a docudrama. In some ways, it's just a straight adaptation. These really beautiful and tragic moments in history. So it's not even real. It's fiction. The goal is to stitch together a tapestry to create a
Titty milk.
quilt. I mean, I don't know why you're not running out to buy tickets right now. And allow myself to color outside the lines of what I've been told, she told Jackson, just to throw that all out and tell the story from my gut. So to make it up, okay? I get it. It might be interesting to some
Sometimes
people.
milk is good for you.
Following further discussion regarding her time working on the film, DuVernay was eventually pressed by Jackson. What does it take to get an audience to watch a movie like Origin? Because halfway through, I realized this is a process film. The reporter elaborated on her initial question. Movie about someone making something. I just had a conversation about She Said, which I loved, and was frustrated because it feels there's that process films about women and people of color, people are not as intrigued. Well, yeah, they're not. They're boring. I don't know what this is, if this is a fair question to ask you, but I'm curious what makes you go out of the way to get the audience in the door? Because it's complicated when asking people to watch material that's challenging. Well, yeah, because the movies are about escapism. And when they started to become more about preaching political ideologies, guess what? People stopped going to the movies. Hollywood collapsed. Right? You'll sit through 3 hours of this process, she then asserted. Will you sit through 2 hours of her process? Oh, right. I'm sorry. In turn, DuVernay unsurprisingly blamed the existence of this challenge on the inherent racism and sexism in general audience. You're right, the director affirmed in reply. It's a challenge to watch the process film about a man making a bomb, Oppenheimer. He's a man who was trying to do something and couldn't quite describe it to anyone else, but he knew it. Isabel is a woman who knows something and can't quite describe it, but she knows it, and she's gonna find it. Putting these two people's stories in the same book shows how, on the same page, shows how delusional this woman is. I think that's the only proposition, says DuVernay. It's not about talking about the merit of the films. It's about talking about the very idea of following a woman through an intellectual process, an intellectual exercise. Then you make it a black person. Then you make it a black woman. Is it valid enough for you to go on that journey with her? No, it's not, because I'm not a black woman. It's not racism. It might shock you to find this out as an audience member of mine who's been in my audience for years. I'm not a black woman. Journey is really not that interesting to me. It's not because I don't like black women. I'm just not interested in their stories. It doesn't make me racist. If you're looking at films like She Said or Woman Talking, there's a real question as to what it takes to center that voice and that narrative. And honestly, I don't even know. What is even a woman? I suppose I could identify as a black woman.
Do it.
I mean, if you choose to make films that are meant to appeal to a tiny audience, which would be black women, and then that's who likes it, what's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with not making $1 billion at the box office. Or it is about money. Or is it about money?
Of course, everything's about
money. Is it that she wants to make more money? It sure seems like it to me. Anywhere you look, black women, I mean, we just watched a commercial featuring nothing but people of color, starring a black woman from Apple, okay, inviting us all to run out of oxygen. I don't even understand, these people's brains are broken.
Yeah, remove all the carbon.
I've definitely seen films that weren't huge box office hits that I really liked, and I've seen documentaries that I really liked. The Bridge is one that I really liked. It's about the Golden Gate Bridge and how many people jump off it every year. It was very interesting. That was a movie about a bridge. So I challenge you, Ava DuVernay, come up with a biopic about something as interesting as a bridge, and I'll go see it. It's pretty simple. I don't understand these lunatics. These people are all broken. They're all broken. I have no interest in your stupid retelling of Colin Kaepernick like he's some kind of Kunta Kinte. Don't like him, never liked him, don't want to watch a movie about him. Sorry, not sorry. Cheerful Cynic said, the problem with all these black biopics is that they can't cover any of the more interesting ones. Like Shaka Zulu, because view of black people just being innocent until whites came. I mean, that would be interesting. You know, I think, I mean, I've seen multiple biopics about Martin Luther King. He's interesting, and they don't even really tell the whole story. You know, I've seen biopics about Malcolm X. I've definitely seen biopics about black people. I'm just not interested in them when I'm supposed to be interested. The whole story is because they were black. I don't care about a movie about a journalist. I certainly don't care about their skin color. It's so weird. It's just this, like, society is, you know, so trained, so obsessed with race. So we're going to be joined in about 5 minutes by the reporter on
Hell yeah, Matt.
On the Pornhub expose. So while I'm just going to refill my water, Rick, I'm a little dry. I'll be back in like 1 minute. While you're here, everyone who's here, create an account and get involved in chat. Create a Rumble account, get involved in chat.
Over a minute. 2 minutes. 3 minutes. 4 minutes. 5 minutes. There we go. Took him 5 minutes.
Okay.
You have to poop.
Back. And we will be joined briefly by Arden Young. Just looking for something quick. Dang it. Did I forget that? Okay. Just 1 second. You know what? I won't need it. Are you good to go?
Ouch. Haircut tomorrow.
Yeah, boss is here.
Gotta have skin here.
Okay, there you are. Okay.
I'm actually doing it before work instead of after tomorrow. Arden.
Hello.
Hey, thank you so much for having me on.
Oh yeah, thank you for the work that you've done. We were talking about, well, the video this earlier on stream. For those of you that don't know, I'm joined here by Arden Young, who is at Arden ARDEN _ Young _ on Twitter. It's linked in the description of this video, so go give her a follow. So interesting stuff. Pornhub, who would have thought that they might not be the best people?
Right. Yeah, I was actually inspired to investigate Pornhub after reading a New York Times article published in 2020 that was written by Nicholas Kristof. It was titled "The Children of Pornhub," and it featured some victims who had been underage and had videos of them uploaded to Pornhub without their consent and distributed and capitalized off of. People made a lot of money off of those videos, and Pornhub completely ignored their request for the video to be taken down. And there's been a lot of litigation since then, and Pornhub has publicly claimed to have cleaned up its act, but we had a hunch that might not be the case, and I guess we were right.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that initial story, and it was pretty wild. Now, tell me about your company, really, your investigative. Tell me about Sound Investigations.
Yeah, Sound Investigations is a brand new investigative company. We're a 501c3. It's just me and a friend of mine, just us two. And up until this point, we've been completely 100% self-funded.
I mean, you have to have a board,
we hope to
which
be able
means
to build a professional team
you can get
soon
kicked out of your
to
own
investigate
channel.
these matters further. But yeah, we're brand new, and we formed the company specifically to investigate the porn industry.
Is there how will people? What's the best way for people to follow you and fund what you're doing? Online.
Absolutely. soundinvestigations.com/donate. Much appreciated. Thank you so much for if you decide to support, and you could always share our posts on Twitter. We're on Twitter as Sound Investigations, and I'm on Twitter as Arden _ Young _.
Cool. So, so we watched part of the video. I've always, as a viewer of these type of videos, I always find myself thinking, how are people this stupid? And I guess that there is this theory floating around in my chat and also in my own head, with this type of, people spilling the beans. We've seen James O'Keefe do some great work doing that, and now you doing some work doing that. Do you think these people want to get, my gross dude way of looking at it is oh, these guys are just stupid. They're trying to get laid. So then they say whatever they need to say, and then that's how they get caught. But do you think that there's some level of where these people actually want to get caught, or are they just, or do you think that they're just, they don't care and they're really that evil?
In Mike's case, Mike Farley, who is the employee in the video, I think he was just an open book, and he even says at one point, "I hope they all ban us," referring to countries. So he actually expressed to me he didn't love what he did. He didn't love the content. He didn't love porn in general. He was just there because he had been there for so long. He's been there for over 10 years, and he told me that he was the 7th employee to be hired at Pornhub ever.
Well, okay, so yeah, he's probably making good money too. That probably is not that's probably factoring in, I would guess.
I think he's very comfortable there.
Yeah. So I noticed at the end of the video, are there more videos coming out on this top? There is.
Yes, we have multiple videos that will be coming out in the next few weeks. Each video features a new Pornhub parent company employee. Some videos will feature multiple new employees that we haven't met before. And each video has a slightly different focus, but they're all relevant to child exploitation.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty telling, in particular for me, that the monetization side of it, and that there's no, actually, if you're like a legitimate porn actor or pornographer, whatever you want to call them, the re-uploading policies and where people are making money off other people's content. I also thought Mike was probably he seemed like an open book, but he also seemed pretty misled on like I think that there are ways that verification could be, you could just ban it, like he mentioned. I think it'd be pretty easy to do, like, have people have like the first 5 seconds of all their videos, show their driver's license and face or whatever, and then you could just set Pornhub to cut the first 5 seconds of a video. But I think that just like Twitter right now with video re-uploads, they're not incentivized to stop that because the content demand is so high, and they don't care about protecting actual creators in that space, and they certainly don't care about protecting kids. I remember when, I think there's a big deal where they removed all of their, they removed individuals' uploads or something like that a while ago. They shut down uploads for, am I remembering that right?
Yeah, I think, Pornhub is considered a tube site where users can upload to it, and what has changed since the lawsuits is that they now require an uploader to be verified, which means they upload a valid government ID into the system. This is where the loophole works its way in, is that a lot of pornographic content uploaded doesn't contain the faces of people in it. So,
I wouldn't know, so I was shocked to find that out.
Yeah, well,
you too, I'm sure.
Yeah, shocked. So the people in it many times aren't showing their faces. So when you're verifying as a Pornhub moderator, is this person's ID matching what's in the video? There's just no logical way to tell because you're trying to match faces with genitals.
Yeah, you'd have to have a genital ID or something like that. Even that would be difficult, probably.
Not a thing at this point. So
thankfully.
So Mike presents his own solution to the problem, and he says every person in a video should have their identity verified. And the question is how you accomplish that. There's a US Code 2257 that says age verification is mandatory for every individual in pornographic content for traditional porn companies. And I think Pornhub would fall into that category. So the solution is you could require every single person in a video to be 2257. And
I suppose.
That's how it works for a lot of these large porn production companies. You can't be an actor in a pornographic video unless you have your 2257 documents. So Mike says it himself. He thinks that's the answer, and I do think it would improve the situation and minimize the risk of having underage or non-consensual content.
Yeah, I suppose. And then they're not. The frustrating thing is, they're just acting like any company would. They're not going to do any more than they're legally required. That's actually, when he talks about that, it's like, that's how corporations are. I mean, they're not incentivized to be better. I don't know why anyone would think that the porn industry is
there are two.
Mining companies that pollute the waters, and they're all doing the absolute bare minimum. So without legal, maybe these videos will ruffle up get enough buzz going. I covered it on my stream, but I also covered it in a standalone video that's doing very well on, a lot of people are very interested. Hopefully you're seeing some new followers. I know you were on Crowder this morning, I think. Or were you on Crowder, or were they just talking about the tapes?
They invited me on, and then Charlie Kirk also invited me on earlier.
Oh, awesome.
And that was great. I hope that it expands the visibility, and I'm really hoping to get the attention of lawmakers on both sides of the aisle to help hold Pornhub accountable. Their parent company, MindGeek, now rebranded to ALO, is a huge corporation that people don't realize the expanse of it. And I don't even think the expanse of everything they own and control is known to anyone but them. They have a monopoly on porn studios and websites in North America. Their Wikipedia page doesn't even scratch the surface on everything they're involved in. And I believe Pornhub is currently the number 9 most trafficked site in the entire world.
Yeah, I was kind of sad to hear that. It's definitely not, documentary film sites or sites where people can learn. But yeah, I think that it's going to be interesting all this play out, and I hope people follow you. What kind of got you into this, into doing investigative reporting?
Yeah, well, I always had a heart for victims of sexual exploitation, especially children. I have a background in the TV and film industry. I'm from Los Angeles. In my teens, grew up doing, acting on different shows and in film. And while I was fortunate enough not to experience exploitation myself, you hear a lot of things, and it really bothers you. So I was inspired to investigate this when I saw the New York Times article, and finally was able to make it happen.
Awesome. Well, I'm sure you've got lots going on today. Everyone, make sure I'm going to put your Twitter in the chat, but then also check out at Sound Investig or soundinvestigations.com to support them, because I recommend people, throw them a few bucks, because it's not cheap to do this kind of thing. And I think that you probably have a bright future in continuing to bring more light to this. And I hope that all this spins up and you do get your attention from some lawmakers. Lord knows, I'm sure many of them spend plenty of time on the website. So I suspect, maybe they're not going to be incentivized, but hopefully.
I hope so. I think this is an issue everyone can agree on. So thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Arden, and best of luck to you. And everyone go follow her and donate some, support their cause. I won't even call it donate, but soundinvestigations.com/donate. Throw them a few bucks and to help them fund what they're doing. So thanks, Arden.
Thank you.
Okay. Cool. Well, I think that, it's definitely an interesting story. It's if there's more videos, I think that they're going to be able to get a lot of eyes on it. I hope that they can. The video on YouTube is doing pretty well, and the video on Rumble just came out, or it comes out at 2:00. But I think that it's, pretty interesting stuff. Porn. I don't have as hard a line on porn as a lot of people do, maybe in this space. I think all things in moderation, but I think everyone could agree that, we don't want any people getting raped on film or being sex trafficked into these websites. People want to do what they want to do with their OnlyFans stuff, all that. That's one thing. But actually, let's just protect people, I think that's where we're going to wrap it up today. I have a guest coming in from out of town. I've got to get a few things done, but I'll be back tomorrow, same time. Looks like the stream was solid today. So I don't know if I'll try Streamlabs again tomorrow and see what's going on and see if we have the same problem. We'll know it's the software. Could have been Starlink yesterday too, because it did have an outage. Before you go, please do make sure that you follow me. If this button here is green, click to follow, or if you have to create an account or whatever, that's, please do consider doing so. Really great crowd today. Hopefully we have a lot of new viewers. I'm here live every single day from noon to 2 Central. So we'll be back on in 22 hours. And I hope that you enjoyed the show.
Thanks, Jeremy.
How many cambacks at once, too? Awesome.
Dude. Ooh. Stabilize. Stabilize.
People are silly. Jesus loves you.
Who's there? Nice. Name of this book.
He's gone. I'm gonna walk this way.
There's only a couple names I know that they have in Ohio right now. Yeah, we need to get you a gimbal, homie.
Take 7 of them to open the store. JLB 4145. JLB4145.
Sunnyside, it's called. Let me see. And do some work. Yep. That's it.
No.
Yeah, that's it.
No stop. Oh. Cool, that lady stopped.
I'm not mad at you no more. Not mad at you no more.
PRD2SD or Y? The sun is so beautiful. God bless everyone.
Yeah, I heard him say that.
Yeah, 2 cameras over here, 2 cameras on the back, 2 cameras the XL on the other side, and 4 in the front. So we're on 10 cameras, guys. Hmm. 20 minutes in. Yeah.
570 reviews.
It's a time for a water break. I just picked up this cold
Let's work by
water.
recent first.
The doctor
Yes.
offered. That was pretty sweet.
Yeah, most of the reviews are bots. These are all bots.
Okay, glad I touched your hand.
It sure seems silly. Yep, you told me you'd run me over. I know, I heard you. You can't lose your job. You know this is going on YouTube, but you drove like that and you threatened to run me over. Interesting, buddy. Cool. So I got threatened to be run over and I got called a re.
A re? I don't know. I've seen video of you.
Call the cops this time, right?
That is not a bot voice.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there's 4 good cameras, and then there's 2 things that look like they might be light fixes or cameras.
It would help. Believe me, I get massive shivers and things like that whenever I get slightly cold.
JLB.
And if you get one that's,
45.
I know they're not cheap though.
Silver car with black stripes.
Or even what me and Unindoctrinated got. Let me pull it up.
That way I know to stay away from it.
It's not a gimbal, but it's a tripod that extends almost 5 feet, or 5 feet, but it opens up only at the bottom. So it's really a monopod with feet. And, you know, if you're doing little things like this, you can go and set it down, move and set it
We're
down.
supposed to pass this time.
And you can even hold it up with your elbow up against you like this.
I can't read. I need my glasses.
Let me pull it up. I'll show you the link. It works great. Was not expensive. See my old orders here.
Meow.
Here it is.
I got a wave. Yay. See, I get excited.
Yeah,
and I
28
get
bucks,
happy and
29
nice.
bucks.
That's what I want is a nice reaction.
Wish you could share it easily from desktop. It's always hidden. Share. Link.
God bless. God bless this guy on this whole truck. God bless those people trying to back up. Good luck with that. Oh, I walked by that earlier.
There it is.
In front of this other hotel earlier. When you think? That's where I saw it. See, Comfort Inn doesn't have a problem. They don't come out here and threaten anything. Alright. So this has been the revisit. Mm-hmm. And my brightness is up. It's 9:06 a.m., July the 27th. It's a Thursday. Thor. I'm gonna get 2 in 1 here, I guess. I'm gonna stand in front of Comfort Inn for a minute.
Yeah, it's called Healing Appalachia. Yeah, this is where me and the wife are going next week. We're leaving for their next Wednesday. We got an Airbnb. Not camping.
Oh, let's get the arms again. There we go. That's all. A little bit sunburnt, so every time this backpack's on my shoulder, it's a little burning. It gets irritating. Whatever. It's all good.
Tyler Childers. That's the main one on Saturday. 10 p.m. on Saturday. Government Mule.
28 minutes. You're Michigan. EFJ29332.
Maybe you're right around where you need to be then, Con. How tall are you? All right.
They're probably looking at me like, why is he walking all weird? Like,
Hope in the Hills
I'm more careful than when I'm walking.
is actually the name of the festival. Who's playing at Healing Appalachia? Hope in the Hills.
A little bit obviously injured. Spinal problems, etc. And that's why I'm on kratom and turmeric and celery and any other anti-inflammatories I can find. This guy put in a backpack. Cool. Looks like my kind of people. God bless you, sir. Going kind of fast. I don't believe you're going to stop. Oh, the wheel stopped rolling. Cool. All right. People that do stop seem to be way in front of the sign, or they do it for the smallest moment that you have to be watching to know they stopped. Seems like most people, though. They just roll through it.
Marion is where he's near.
Ah, sun, it's so beautiful.
Oh, Tyler Childers? It's in Lewisburg, West Virginia.
Only I could actually see the real light.
Right in the middle of West
The light
Virginia.
we see is illusion. That's the false light.
Pretty
That's
sure.
from Lucifer. But
Let's
Christ
see.
is the true light bringer.
Yep.
So if you guys want to try
Long drive, I know that.
some anthroposophy, listen to some Rudolf Steiner. Troll me about that stuff, because that stuff's crazy. La 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 la.
Try this again. Yeah, it's like right. Well, it's actually close to the Virginia border, so it's on the eastern side of West Virginia.
I somewhat enjoy the trolls. I don't have to go find anyone to troll. The trolls come to me. Pretty nice. It's like a luxury. Hi, camera. Hi, camera. Hi, camera.
Have a good night.
You too. See ya. Where it's at. Right down anyway. Is the sound gone? Mundo.
The only reason I'm doing the camel one is because I'm not trying to put no gang affiliations by rocking like a black bandana, you know?
Bye. I'll see you Friday.
See, I might be stupid, but I'm also stupid safe. Does that make sense? It's not long enough, dude. Fuck.
This site is hilarious. U.S. Department of Propaganda.
I grew up like this. I grew up like this.
Let's look at some of their pictures. White House Road. The bourgeoisie. Not the best, but still good. It's true. Yeah, smell versus poop is funny. Trans truck. Power tangling.
Ms. Heffley, it is in evidence according to our record.
This is the Texas government eating itself.
All right.
Pull it on the screen, Eric, and make it big. And make sure you capture the time and date of this text.
Thanks, you inDOCtriNATION, for the like on the Facebooks.
Get the date too.
Did you see? Just noticed you. Sorry about that. Bougie.
I'm gonna need somebody to confirm the date.
Caverns and New. I have to check, look that up.
Henley 5.
I'll look it up over here.
As we're getting this date,
Yeah.
can you see there that there's a
Do it for
text
life.
sent from
Doing
Jeff
live.
Matier to General Paxton?
Two for Life's more interesting than
General,
this.
That yesterday, each of the individuals on this text made a good faith report of violations of law.
I can.
Do you know what date that was done?
I do not.
Okay. If this text was sent on October 1st,
Holy
because
shit.
we know they went to the
The
FBI
fucking camera
on
outside?
September 30th, that means they were sending this text the day after, correct?
Yes.
On October 1st, 2020. Make sense?
Yes.
So
Oh, no.
on October the 1st, 2020, Jeff Matier, along with several other individuals, sent this text to General Paxton, right?
That is what it appears to be, yes.
Now let's look back now, if we could, Eric, at the date and time that the general instructed his trustee to wire the money to pay for his home renovations. You heard the suggestion, I'm sure, Drew. You heard they suggested he only did that because he knew that his people had went to the FBI?
Objection, compound. I don't understand the question.
Overruled. Yes. You heard that suggestion, didn't you, Drew, that the general learned that a few of his subordinates went to the FBI and therefore he hurriedly sent a text to pay for his house repairs? You heard that?
That was the insinuation in the last line of questioning, yes.
That's what she was insinuating, wasn't it?
That is what I understood, yes.
But the truth
I'll put in there
is,
real quick if you guys
look
want.
at
Oh shit, I thought I switched over to him. Sorry.
AG exhibit
today, man, which is like crazy. It's since it's been 100 degrees for like 2 months straight every day. So this 80 degrees is like fucking cold front.
Yeah, we have a high
I
71
haven't
here.
been able to be online a lot. I mean, I've been lurking a lot of places. Between work and the baby, you know what I mean? Like, my life has been full, trying to do some things. Me and Ajon are trying to coordinate. What up, ANCAP? What's up, Keto? We're trying to coordinate on getting out and doing some cop watch or audits or something. I mean, but with the baby, it's just
Check out these places you're talking about.
What's up, Cat?
Name of this place?
Yeah, with the baby, it's kind of hard to get out there together. But I mean, we both need to get out. We're both going to get out there and get some cop watching or some auditing. I was actually talking to her about auditing. I'm not blaming it on Justice. It's just, she takes a lot of our free time now. So
Caverns and New River Gorge.
her mama ain't got much free time at all. Her mama's got her most of the time. But when I get home, when I get off of work, I usually try. I mean, I try to help out.
Okay.
Rocket City, that's right. I seen Rocket City in here. What up, buddy? I try to get out, or I try to help.
Oh, that's pretty close.
Her mom out as much, keep her as much as I can. Well, when I get home. But I was just driving and I was like, oh, fucking, I'm gonna go live. I mean, hey, if Doc can do it, I can do it. Oh, Nettie's Princess, welcome in. What up, Pink Taco?
Yeah, you can do it. You have 13 people on it already.
Yeah, so we're gonna try. I mean, like I said, we've been trying to figure out a way to do it and make it easy for everybody. I know Nettie's Princess will watch the baby, but I mean, I don't want to, put a burden on her to watch the baby while we're out cop watching. Whatever. But we're gonna get out there, man, and do it to it. How is Pink Taco in my chat when I'm live and I'm driving? Man, that's weird. Yeah, but I'm driving, Angel. How can I type as Pink Taco while I'm driving? You guys see me driving. Come on, man. Somebody call Wolvie up and ask Wolvie how the hell I'm doing it. How the hell it's getting done. Yeah. Second phone. I do have two phones, but I don't have it with me, number one. And number two, I don't like texting. I can do just about everything else and drive. The texting and driving, I don't feel comfortable. I know a lot of people do it, and I hate when I see people do it, honestly. What's up, G-Wack, Fern? Welcome in, y'all. We just driving, man. Seeing the sights. We are driving through North Austin. I'm glad this sits back away from my windshield. You guys ain't bitching about how dirty the windshield is. I got it sitting way low. If I had it up on the mountain a little bit higher, you'd see all the bird shit on the hood. This fucking asshole won't get off my ass. Don't you hate how people drive in your blind spot, man? Like, they'll drive right at your back bumper. Like, they're tip of their nose. They'll be in the left lane next to you, but they'll drive right at the speed limit where they're just following right at their nose, right on your fucking back bumper. And it's like, dude, you're taking my fucking blind spot. Either come up or back off or something. Do fucking something. What's up, laptop? Eat your broccoli, welcome in. Yeah, fucking stupid. You guys catching all that wind noise or not?
Yep.
It isn't too bad, or it is too bad.
Guys, I gotta do a few things here.
Leslie's in there. Hello, Leslie. Welcome in.
Wait, shit.
Oh, it's pretty loud because I'm on this little cut through. It's not, you go down the side. You got the barrier in between the highway and Clement Road, and it's so you can bypass a couple of lights. It's like a little bypass. And it's always loud in between them barrier, but it's you get a little different right now. There we go. What's up, Brandon? So what's everybody else been up to? I know what Angel's been up to. He's been sitting in the car smoking weed. Sitting in the car smoking weed. That's what Angel's been doing. Oh, that's a red light. Better stop. I know, right? Stop. Angel been in the car smoking weed. Pink Taco said he was gonna delete his Pink Taco account like 2 weeks ago, and he's still in here. They're only suggestions. Yeah. Yeah, only suggestions if I don't want to get T-boned.
So September 20th is when we show up there. We're staying in a place called Pence Springs, West Virginia. Mountain view and river getaway. No cleaning fees.
Hey, you better not delete me.
5 nights.
Dude.
5 nights for $698.
You come in and liven up people's chats. What would people do without you?
Here. I bring it up on there so you guys can see this little place. Not bad. It's a little cheaper than a hotel.
Oh, yeah. Hey, did you guys all go over and see the video I dropped on Tyrant Hunter News yesterday? If you didn't see the video I dropped on Tyrant Hunter News, I dropped the video yesterday on Tyrant Hunter News. Y'all go over there and check it out. Give it a thumbs up or whatever. I guess some of you guys probably have seen it. It's a video, I guess. Big Taco got tagged on my Big Taco. Anyways, it's a video that I guess AFA shared it. What I gather, I didn't know that when I dropped it, but oh well. But yeah, man, go check it out. If you guys seen it on AFAs, still go check it out. Give it a thumbs up, throw a comment in there, man. Just trying to keep Tyrant Hunter News rolling a little bit too.
How's this?
Pink Taco keeps on timing himself out. Yeah, that's nice.
Here we go.
And if you guys,
I just want to see the thing.
I don't know if any of you guys seen the latest community post by Jeff, but September 11th was Jeff's birthday. And of course, it's a somber day already because it's September the 11th. And then in the afternoon, just anyway.
Look at this. Nice little shack in the woods on the river. It's like a little grill there. Puppy will have his own room. Likes it.
The rest of his life. Even though it's his birthday, you know what I mean? Because he really wasn't a big fan of doing anything for his birthday anyway, because of September the 11th, But, now, his mom passed, the terrorist attacks on September 11th. So, that's not a good day.
You mean the CIA attack? The CIA attack.
Anywho, go, let him know. He's, like I said, he's got a community post up. So, yeah, he's got a community post up. So, if you guys want to go over there and throw a like, man, and give a comment, tell him that you guys are thinking about him or whatever, you know what I mean? That'd be nice. Hell yeah, 18 people watching, 18 likes. That's what I see on my end. Smashing that like button, hell yeah.
Let's see, 20
Angel, what
likes.
you're supposed to say is, I run faster scared than you do mad. Five of the likes are yours. I bet. Hey, Angel, man. I just want to say, ain't no half stepping. Oh, shit.
Click that like. Oh, it popped. That's right.
Like my man.
Supposed to. The full video is coming out at 4.
That's all right. He didn't see the notification.
For the reminder. There it is.
I'm not convinced it's any y'all's business what I'm doing.
Excuse me. Hello.
Yeah.
Sergeant Harris, nice to meet you.
Hi.
Okay, these are all closed businesses. You don't have any warrants, you're free to go. You need to dispel our alarm while you're stopped in front of 2 businesses that are closed.
Okay, like I said, I'm not convinced it's any of your business what I'm doing.
Listen, if you're a private investigator and you're working,
Mhm.
that's fine. but
I'm still not convinced it's any of your business.
Oh, I see.
T-Mobile is. That's what I use. It was just on it.
As Americans, do we live under the restraints of martial law or a curfew at night? After the sun sets and businesses close for the night, is it illegal for us to leave our homes and just be outdoors? Well, American Eagle enforcement officers sure seem to think so. On Saturday, September 9th, 2023, I was out early in the morning doing some cop watching in the city of Bunnell, Florida. Watch as Sergeant Davis and her crew pull out all of the old classics to manufacture probable cause for a traffic stop. Spinning such golden oldies as loitering and prowling, stopping in the roadway, failure to come to a complete stop, failure to stop behind the stop bar, and your tag comes back as invalid.
Wait. Why is this super low? Why is this showing just to 2021? It's weird.
turn the car off for me and drop the back windows?
Am I being detained or something?
Yes, sir.
For what reason?
Yeah, can you turn the car off for me and drop the back windows?
Am I being detained or something?
Yes, sir.
For what reason?
You got your loitering fine. You're driving around. You drove past us 3 times.
Loitering, you think? Or that you qualified immunity on that?
So right now you're in the position, not out of the lawful time. Somebody else will be. It is 3 o'clock in the morning.
Mhm.
You're out driving around. I've seen you make 3 loops around while we were over there on security.
And the point is, I mean, I'm not convinced it's in your business what I'm doing out here.
I'm just trying to see why you're out here. It's late, it's early in the morning.
Yeah, I'm not convinced it's in your business.
It is my business. I'm just trying to figure out why you're out here.
I'm still not convinced.
Give me your license registration, please.
For what reason?
You're lawfully detained right now. You need to provide ID.
I'm lawfully detained.
Yes, sir.
I'm not convinced it's in y'all's business what I'm doing.
Excuse me. Hello.
Yeah.
Sergeant Harris, nice to meet you.
Hi.
Okay, these are all closed businesses. If you don't have any warrants, you're free to go. You need to dispel our alarm while you're stopped in front of 2 businesses that are closed.
Okay, I'm gonna dispel your alarm right now.
You can do that, but you need to understand this is
excuse
our
me.
traffic stop.
Excuse me.
You don't run it.
You don't have a traffic stop. You haven't stopped me for a traffic infraction. You
Yes,
haven't.
yes, you did. You stopped in the middle of the roadway, sir.
I stopped in a lawful parking spot. I've got a dash cam.
It took you a second to get there.
Like I said, I'm not convinced it's in your business when I'm doing that.
Listen, if you're a private investigator and you're working,
Mhm.
that's fine, but you need to verify
I'm
that.
still not convinced it's any of your business.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So am I free to go?
No.
What do you have me detained for?
Sir, I'll go to the back of my neck. I'll be right
What do you have detained? What do you have me detained for?
You're driving out.
Is it loitering or prowling or cop watching?
Not cop watch, it's loitering crap. We saw you make 3 loops around. The closed businesses are parked over
Are
there.
you guys cops?
Yes, we are.
Have you ever heard of cop watching?
I have.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out if you just have you dispel my alarm.
How's it going, sir? My name is Officer Patrick. Police Department.
Yeah.
So, as of right now, you are detained. Okay, you're not free to leave. All right. Okay. So, as of right now, we have a lawful reason to detain you. We've notified.
What is that lawful reason?
For a traffic stop.
No. For what reason? What's the traffic stop for?
Whenever you pulled off of Green Street,
Mhm.
you failed to come to a complete stop before exiting the roadway. Okay. You're on foot.
You see, I've got a dash cam.
Okay, that's cool. That's fine. This isn't roadside court.
Mhm.
Okay? So we've notified you for the reason. You can. Please provide me with your driver's license, registration proof.
And if I don't, what'll happen?
At that point, you're failing to identify to a law enforcement officer.
So you're claiming it's in my pocket. So you're claiming that you have me stopped for a lawful reason.
Yes, sir. Once again, this is not roadside court. So,
You know what? You guys are full of shit.
okay. So if you can you please provide me with
I'm
your
out here
driver's
cop
license?
watching. That's all I'm doing. I've told you what I'm doing. I've dispelled your alarm. I'm out here.
I still
I'm
need
a
to
grown
identify
man. And it doesn't matter if I'm out here at 2:50 in the morning. It's irrelevant.
That's fine.
All right.
But that's my reason for coming over here. Okay?
All right. You guys can have a nice night. Let me go.
No,
There
you're,
you go.
you're not free to.
When am I free to go?
Once you identify yourself.
You don't get to just identify me for no reason. You don't have
Once
me
again, I've
for
told
you
you
do
you're
not
being
have
stopped.
me for a legitimate
Okay,
traffic
sir,
stop.
So here's the thing.
You don't have me for a
Okay,
legitimate traffic
cool.
stop.
Sir,
I stopped
I've
at that stop
explained-
sign.
I've
You,
explained the reason.
you said I stopped. I failed to come to a complete stop.
Yes, sir.
I stopped at that stop sign. I counted to 3.
Okay, so sir,
Use my
this
turn
is not
signals.
roadside court.
It's still going.
Okay, so this is not roadside court, sir. If you can, please identify yourself.
My name is Jeff.
Okay, can I please see your
She
identification?
just identified me. She just
Okay.
ran my
Jeff?
tag.
I need to see your
The
identification.
tag
sir.
does not come back. It's not showing a registered vehicle. Now you have to show some registration and verify it's not legal on the street.
You guys are so full. You're so full of shit. You're full of shit. Shut up.
Thank you, sir. If I may see your registration and insurance, please.
Sir, sometimes that happens with a dealer tag, so that's why I'm asking, is the vehicle
Look,
registered
this
to a dealer?
whole stop is bullshit.
You're going to be free to go in just 1 second.
Oh,
as long as you
I
can
know,
verify,
because I'm
okay?
not doing anything wrong. You guys have stopped me for a constitutionally protected activity. Is what you've done.
Understood, but the tag is not valid, sir. So that tag does not come back to this car. So now it is a good probable cause.
I've got
stop.
it right there on the registration.
Okay, well, I'm verifying to you what our dispatch said.
Okay.
The first initial stop was the stop sign violation next to
stop
the
sign
church.
violation.
That was the first one. Okay, but we were checking a business, so we couldn't get to our
You
car
guys,
quick enough.
I don't want to hear your bullshit. All right, just shut your mouth and tell them free to go. All right, I don't want to hear your bullshit. I don't believe any of it. I think you're all full of shit.
Okay, and
You're
okay
making
to do
shit up.
that.
You're making lies up.
Not at all, sir.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And my dash cam will prove it.
Okay, no worries.
I'm out here doing cop watching. That's why I'm riding around. I've told you what I'm doing. I've dispelled your
Understood. That's
All right.
all. My
All
job is to keep sure my businesses don't get broken into at night.
All right. Have a good night.
That's all. All right, thank you. Just let me run. Mr. Jeff, just two things. When we first initially saw you where we were on foot by the business, it appeared it was a stop bar violation. We were over there. We couldn't get out with you. No big deal. When I get to the vehicle and I run the tag, dispatch says it doesn't have a record, which is common with a dealer tag. I didn't know that you had this registration, so I advised you on the other side. It appeared to be a dealer tag, so it is. All your credentials are verified, sir. You're free to go.
Have a good night.
Thank you very much. You too.
He's a whole lot more cordial with him than I can possibly be. I do give him credit for that. A whole lot more cordial than I could possibly be.
In the back, man. Hit a bump, it was like boing, 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 boing. Poor man's hydros, right? Yeah, just cut your struts in the back, poor man's hydros. Fucking hit a bump and just start tapping the gas and hit the gas, or tapping the gas and the brake at the same time. Get that bitch bouncing. I had a friend. That's funny. Hey, look, that's funny. So I had this dude that I worked with, man. This was back fucking probably in the 90s, probably late 90s. He had a fucking Ford Escort, and his struts were completely gone in the back of this Escort, and that's what he used to do. He used to he'd start going down the road, and he'd hit his gas and hit his brake, hit his gas, hit his brake, hit his gas, hit his brake, you know, and he'd get that bitch bouncing, man, and he could actually bounce the fucking back wheels off the ground. They would bounce off of the fucking ground, like he would put the back end of the car airborne. Like only a couple inches, but it was fucking crazy, dude. It was funny as shit. See, up there in Ohio, they ain't got no inspections on the cars. Up there in Ohio, man, you can drive a car, man, have fucking rust holes in it the size of your fucking head, stick your head in, and you still be on the road. No inspections. When I started driving tow truck, you guys might have heard this story.
Driver, step out of the vehicle. Face the away from me. Step back. Step back. My dog's gonna die. Step back. Go to your left. Get faster. Get on your knees. My dog's about to die.
This is pretty interesting because the governor of New Mexico, Governor, I don't give a damn about your rights, Grisham, has made an emergency order that has effectively banned your right to carry a firearm in Bernalillo County and Albuquerque specifically, which means she effectively, in writing, criminalized every gun owner who wants to carry, conceal or open, it doesn't matter, criminalize them and exact a penalty on them by the state police if they dare to exercise the rights. So this is from Bernalillo County. And this is just a little bit of background before I play this. This is a family whose dog got, run over or something in the street. And the entire family got into the family vehicle with the dog to rush their dog to the hospital to save its life. And here comes Bernalillo County's finest. And if I get the names of the officers, I'm kind of watching this. I watched at it the first time, but now I'm intently watching it with you guys. So let's get some reaction here.
A family rushing to try and save their dog's life, stopped and held at gunpoint by the cops. KRQE investigative reporter Gabrielle Burkhardt obtained the police videos from a traffic stop that still has a family in disbelief. Did Bernalillo police officers take things too far? Have a look.
It was a neighborhood cat that lured Stella the Labradoodle into traffic in July.
I was like, oh my God, our dog just got hit.
The Albrecht family jumped into action.
We jumped in the car and started trying to get to the ER as fast as we could to try to save her life.
William Albrecht headed down 550 through Bernalillo from their Rio Rancho home toward the...
Let me give you a quick warning here. If you are a dog lover, if you're an animal lover,
it's like a family member.
This is going to infuriate you. Now, it is not my intent when I make videos to infuriate you, but I do want honest reactions and honest responses. You let me know what you think about a cop interfering with the family's desire to save their pet.
Nearest 24-hour emergency vet. He spots a Bernalillo police cruiser.
So I imagined if he was going to pull me over for speeding, I'd pull over, he'd say something to me, and then maybe even help us get there. I've heard of stories like that before.
You've assumed wrong. That is assuming a lot of good on cops.
But that didn't happen.
Driver, step out of the vehicle.
This is what did happen.
Face the away from me.
Lapel video shows Officer Jeremy Navarez put Albrecht at gunpoint.
Jeremy Navarez. I'm going to write this down. We're going to go back over it. It's important that Jeremy Navarez gets called out because maybe there needs to be some phone calls on Jeremy Navarez. I wish I could read his tattoo here because usually it's like to protect and serve or give me liberty or give me death while they're giving people death.
Ordering him out of the car.
Step back. Step back.
Realizing what's happening.
My dog's gonna die.
Albrecht's wife starts recording on her cell phone.
Roll the window down, Remy. I'm thinking, this is unbelievable. I can't believe this. Like, why didn't someone just come check with us, find out what the reason our speeding was, and help us?
She and her son watch in disbelief.
Step back. Go to your left.
As Navarez directs Albrecht into traffic. Backup arrives, but they continue with a felony stop.
But this is all for your safety. So Jeremy Navarez, from the very beginning, listen to how fast this guy, this family man with this dog who's on the brink of death, pulls over. I think it's like 30-something seconds he pulls over. And yet the response of Navarez is to threaten him with deadly force for having done nothing?
Get on your knees.
Guns drawn. His wife and 16-year-old son now at gunpoint.
My dog's about to die.
Albrecht.
The entire family at gunpoint. And people like to go, oh, that's, there's racism going. It's institutionalized. This is white cops terrorizing, psychologically and physically tormenting a white family at gunpoint. Lethal force for what? For what? Was there a call that these guys robbed a bank? Was there a call that they're fleeing a situation where they were mass shooters? No. You're just going over the speed limit. And now this guy's, my dog's about to die. And every family member is at gunpoint. Now the lives of each and every member of this family hangs in the balance. For what, Navarez?
Is handcuffed.
My dog's about to die.
I saw my son was sticking his hands out the window too, like, dude, our dog's gonna die.
Okay, come to me. My dog's gonna die.
And none of them seemed to even care at the moment at all.
Keep your hand, please. My name.
Look, let me get my mug out of the way. Look at the kid here. What would you say? And a lot of people are like, dude, you just let the video play. I can't, because if under fair use, you have to make commentary. And I think it's very important to comment on this. Do you have sons and daughters? I do. If I saw my son in this position, knowing that he's an innocent man, knowing that all he wants right now at this very moment is to save his dog's life, and that's all I want. And we've already expressed that. There's no indication that the family in this vehicle are criminals. No indication at all. There's no reasonable articulable suspicion. There's no probable cause that a crime has been committed. Nothing. Navarez is way out on a tyrannical limb here.
Look at my dog. That's my son, my wife. Please, sir, my dog's about to die.
He's taken to the back of a patrol car.
Sir, my dog's bleeding out of mouth. Okay.
Albrecht's wife tries to explain.
She's going to die. She got hit by a car. Look at his face, sir. Look, she's bleeding.
Look at my dog. My dog is bleeding
Oh
out
my
of the
gosh.
face.
Oh my gosh.
And they're holding us on the side of the road.
Oh my gosh.
The officer who
Oh my,
pulled them
I can't even. Gotta hold it back, man. Gotta hold it back. This is just like a flood of emotions. Looking at that dog's face, looking at how desperate this family is, looking at the tyranny that's being exacted on them by people who swore to protect and your dog. I've got a dog. I'm a dog lover. That's not their response. There's no empathy at all. None. There's no giving this family a chance. There's no, hey, I'm going to use my authority on my position. We're going to give you an escort to the vet. I have a dog. I have cats. I'm an animal lover myself. Let's go. No, none of that. None of that. Why? As a matter of fact, it's the exact opposite. Listen to the crap that they say about this family.
wrote in his report that Albrecht was speeding and driving recklessly, but he wasn't given a citation, and there's no video of a pursuit. That first officer also never walked up to the family's car to check on the dog or ask why they were speeding.
Yeah, of course not, because they're not interested in true investigation. Now, they'll get you for obstruction of their investigation, but they keep it all just super vague so they can get you on something. But when it comes to actually, hey, let's investigate to see if the claim of the father, the claim of the son, and the claim of the mom, which is all the same thing, our dog is about to die, we're rushing him to the vet, please help us. Let's go investigate and see if this is true. Let's see if there's a dog who really needs some help. Didn't even do that. What kind of investigation is that? It is zero investigation.
Officer Navarez's report says he drew his firearm and pointed it towards the immediate threat.
That's
writing
right.
the driver looked mad with his hands clenched in the air. The officer's video shows otherwise.
So he lied. Navarez, Officer Navarez, Jeremy Navarez, I didn't get the badge number. Maybe we can find it out. Lied on a report. That should, at the very minimum, he should get fired for that. Will he?
Step out of the vehicle.
The second I saw my guns to my son's head, like I really felt like when I got out of the car, like this dude might shoot me if I make the wrong move.
I can't believe this. Christ, man.
Another officer convinced Navarez to let the family go.
Let me get out of here. Referee fire unit, go ahead and downgrade.
The cuffs come off.
You're something else. You're something else, sir.
Albrecht, the father, says, man, you are something else, pulling your guns on innocent people. No, you're something else. What? That is psychopathic to the nth degree.
Their dog Stella didn't make it.
It's horrible. Like, she was such a great dog.
I wonder if Stella would have made it. I wonder if these cops didn't intervene or saw what was going on and gave them an escort to the vet like a public servant would do. I wonder if Stella would still be here.
So how did speeding turn into a felony stop?
Yeah,
The
how?
family had no weapons or warrants.
I can't believe you pulled your gun on my kids, sir.
Policy.
Oh, yeah, I hear you.
Pulling my gun on your kid and your entire family and jeopardizing your lives, that's policy.
He asked for a copy of that policy and the use of force policies from Bernalillo police, but those policies don't explain what happened here. BPD's policy does call for de-escalation, saying the level of force employed must be commensurate with the threat posed by the subject and the seriousness of the situation. Officer Navarez claims Albrecht didn't immediately pull over, which he disputes.
As soon as I noticed the lights, I pulled over.
Listen.
The red Escalade, 550 eastbound. Maybe on stopping. Oh, now it's stopping.
For confirming the vehicle stopping.
33 seconds after his first call to dispatch, he
33. It had to be 33 seconds. But I don't want to digress. He pulled over in a very short period of time. There's no eluding police. There's no speeding up to get away. It took 33 seconds to find a safe spot, pull over. That sounds reasonable to me. And yet the guy, Navarez, pulls his firearm on an innocent man.
He says they're stopped.
No one came at him. No one threatened him. And again, like, what did he see that scared him so bad? I mean, this guy was angry.
The Albrecht saw just how angry watching the officer's recording.
Listen. F that D-head. Says again, F that D head. Let's see. Is it both or both of them? Let's see.
Watching the officer's recording.
Navarez. F that D head. F him. Effing biatch.
Are you kidding me?
So he's gonna complain.
They also heard Officer Navarez's explanation.
Well, yeah. So I did a felony stop on him because he wasn't stopping when he stopped.
He wasn't stopping. It took him, Sarge, you're not going to believe this. It took him 30-something seconds to stop. What's the problem with that? That sounds like a reasonable amount of time to look for some place safe to pull over. You nitwit.
Once we found out his dog was injured and he was trying to get to veterinarian, we tried that idea and let him go if he's being.
That guy shouldn't be a cop.
What was going through your head?
Scared. Just calling my dad names and stuff. It's not right. Shouldn't be a police officer.
We called Bernalillo police to ask if they're investigating the stop. We left messages for the chief, called and emailed, but we never got an answer.
Just a reminder to add to the insanity, Bernalillo County and Albuquerque, New Mexico are the exact areas that were identified by the governor, I don't give a damn about your rights, Grisham, as being a place where we are criminalizing innocent gun owners. It is now illegal. It's against the law in the mind of the governor for you to open carry or conceal carry in this very area right here.
We also showed the video to the ACLU.
I do think it was an excessive use of force, an unnecessary use of force.
Think.
And this is why people are fearful of the police.
Yeah,
Maria Martinez is the
that's
legal
true.
director for ACLU New Mexico.
Police departments just need to really be serious about consequences when this type of thing happens. So in this specific...
How about just at the very get-go, be serious about the Constitution. Specifically, be serious about individual liberties. Somebody pulls over, don't draw your freaking... What are you that scared? If you're that scared when you pull somebody over at a traffic stop that you're going to lose your life, maybe you should go into the plumbing business. Maybe you should do something a little, maybe sell cotton candy at the state fair.
Case, I think these officers should be disciplined.
Gabrielle Burkhart, KRQE investigates.
Jailed. They should be jailed. If you did what that cop did to this family, you would be in jail right now. Poor little Stella. I feel sorry for this family. I just wanted to show it to you. If you still trust in cops, if you unquestioningly trust them, trust in the authority because your brain has been pickled by the 15,000 hour public fool indoctrination program, maybe it's time to get your head out of your backside and look at what's going on. These are not isolated cases. This didn't happen to this family because they were black. This was a white family. These were white cops. It's not about racism. It's about totalitarianism. It's about the tyrannical mindset of people who put on that badge, uniform, and gun and have the authority of the state and have these massive egos that get bruised easily and they're fearing for their lives. That is a dangerous combination. Leave your thoughts about this. I really want to hear what you have to say. And when you do leave your thoughts and you leave a comment, you help me overcome the YouTube censorship suppression machine, however that works. So if you haven't done so already, subscribe to this channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, share it with everybody you know. Don't forget to subscribe to my email list through my website, highimpactflix.com. And if you want to support the channel further, the support links are in the description, or you can grab a hard-hitting conversation starting shirt or become a channel member or subscribe to me over on Facebook. But remember, the price of freedom is eternal vigilance. Freedom is dangerous. The only thing more dangerous is not having it. If you're going to be guilty of anything today, be guilty of being excellent. I'll see you in the next video.
Be excellent. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. All right, let me see here. Peace.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad. After her there ain't no coming back. Wanna take a run at that. I think she's feeling me. Turn it up a few degrees. My imagination of her body gets the best of me. Oh gosh, she's such a tease. Bitten lips, bruised knees. I'm addicted to her, need her touching me. Cause she got a bad little waist. Then we tearing down this place. Off the liquor that we chase. Casamigos to the face. Baby, I don't need no space. Coming closer for a taste. And I'll show you how I make everything just fade away. Cause she's like sex, drugs, cocaine. Body so insane. Jealous of the clothing that she wears up on a tight frame. All game, no shame. Baby came here to play. I feel like an addict cause she's sex, drugs, cocaine. Got a fine little body and her mind's kinda naughty. They say that once you taste it, you cannot replace it. She could get you high, all the dopamine inside triggers fast once she's naked. Her body's a creation. They say the devil made her for his entertainment, but even he couldn't learn how to contain it. Her high heels make a damn good statement. There is no replacement, a body by Satan. Cause she got a bad little waist, and we tearing down this place. Off the liquor that we chase. Casamigos to the face. Baby, I don't need no space. Coming closer for a taste. And I'll show you how I make everything just fade away. Cause she's like sex, drugs, cocaine. Body so insane. Jealous of the clothing that she wears up on a tight frame. All game, no shame. Baby came here to play. I feel like an addict cause she's sex, drugs, cocaine.